As you can see, I'm not failing, brother. I'm doing better than ever. I don't know what you people be talking about. Crazy. Ridiculous. Me fail? Man, I'm Pimp Master Pain up in here. This is Halloween time. I don't fail anytime, but especially during Halloween time. Man. Oh, you live ignorant fools out there. Predicting my demise. That ain't happening, fool. Got my wolf cane up in here. You see on my bling? You see this? You look at this. You see this? Feast your eyes. That's what's happening. We rolling, baby. We rolling. Welcome to the show. PRT. Josh Turner, also known as Big Wolf. I got a show for you fools today. I thought I'd do a little dress up. Got my disco ball and my cane and my jacket. It's looking hot and fresh and live, you know what I'm saying? This what's happening, fool. Not gonna let anybody stop me. Ain't gonna let nobody stop me. Because up in my comment section, you can say what you want. You can be what you want. You hear what I'm saying? That's right. You want to have a nightclub up in my comment section? Have a nightclub up in my comment section. I promote that, baby. I promote it. I live it. You hear what I'm saying? It's all good up in the hood. I know what I'm all about the bling bling. Ring ring. That's what I'm talking about. All these haters up in here. You jealous? You jealous of my earrings? Huh? You jealous of all my bling? That's what it is. Because I'm rolling. Because Josh Turner know many famous and powerful people. That's the problem. Big jealousy. Big jealousy. I can tell you right now, ain't nobody hating gonna win. All right? Go back and build your barn and do what you be doing up there in Indiana, wherever you from, and just leave me in Texas down here alone, baby. That's the best thing for you. All you people out there, you know where the stories is. You know where the real stuff is. You know where to come and get it. You come get your story, get your fix. Entertainment, baby. Scare, get your scare on in the comment section, and we running this mall. You know what I'm saying? PRT for life, baby. Yeah. Can you dig it? That's what I'm saying. Got the whole world right here in this disco ball. Got my pimp cane up in here. You don't even know what's going on. That's what's going on in my world. High living. Talking like I'm tough. Flexing my muscles. Trying to be cool. Hanging out with the cool kids. That's what I'm doing. That's what it's all about, baby. And I'm taking my PRT family on that wagon with me. We going on that train, baby. We're going to go all the way to the top. We're going to be like Elon Musk. We're going to go up into space, baby. That's what we're going to be. That's where it's going to happen. That's where it's going down. We're going to go all the way to the moon, baby. I'm going to be doing a show broadcast live from the moon. That's going on next week, just so you know. I'm going to be up there with the moon with Lord Washington. My voice said, Mr. Turner, you got to get yourself up here to the moon, baby. That's where it's going on. That's where it's going down. I'm going like, that's you. You're right. You're right. I'm over here wasting my time in the minor leagues. I'm going to be up there in the moon. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's all good, though. It's all good. What we talking about today? PRTpodcast.com. Josh Turner at PRTpodcast.com. That's what you're doing. That's how you get them stories to me, baby. Keep coming. Keep bringing them high, live stories. They're so good. Like butter on bread, baby. Like white on rice. That's what it is, baby. That's how we roll. That's how we roll up in here. Got my grill made. Got it going. Diamonds. You see this? You see that? That's all diamonds, baby. That's all how we roll. All y'all donations, we just going to take them all, and we're going to take it to the moon, baby. That's where we going. That's where we headed. All right? Ain't no Amish buggy going to derail anything. We're going to do what we got to do. We're going to run them over. That's what we do. We're going to do what we do. We're going to have guests tonight. We're going to talk about some black-eyed kids. Talk about reptilians. We're going to talk about werewolves. That's the kind of stuff we be talking about up in here in PRT. Everybody don't know that Josh Turner, he don't get the best stories up in here. Huh? You're all jealous over there. That's what you're doing. People calling me up acting crazy, talking all kind of crazy mess. Oh, that Mr. Clifford gonna get you, boy. Oh, gonna get you. Oh, that boy, you little boy. Then you find out this one fool, he got like 16 accounts. That's all him. 4 dudes. Perpetrating on Mr. Turner. But you can't perpetrate on me. I'm gonna run you over. I'm gonna run you over the PRT train. PRT train, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Don't be hating. Don't be hating, baby. Don't be jealous. Go after them. Hustle. That's what you about to do. You got to hustle. When you hustle, you get them stories, baby. When you get them stories and you tell them, it's like butter to your ears. Ooh, Josh Turner done scared me. Ooh, he's scary. That's right, baby. You get scared up in here. And I entertain you, baby. Entertainment. That's what this is all about. Can't have a show without entertainment. You can put in the comment section. Ooh, it's like a nightclub up in there. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like a nightclub up in here. We got the disco ball to prove it, baby. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? That's what's happening, my brothers. We're going to let this chat room fill up. We're going to make some phone calls, and we're going to be talking to some people. I see my man Chris. Thank you for the donation. Tanya, donation. Because that's a rocket ship. We're going to fly to the moon, and we're going to do the show on the moon, baby. And you all coming with me. Because PRT going to the top. Ain't nobody got the spice like we do. We got that spice of life, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing all bling tonight. That's what I'm doing. I'm blinged out, baby. Don't hate. Appreciate. I appreciate that right there. I'm looking at the comments. I'm like, what? We got everybody up in here. Woo! It's going to be a live show tonight. 111 people in the chat room and growing. Got a little bit of a beef. My boy, Phil Stern done backed out on me. Once again, baby, I forgive you, Phil. You, my friend. I know you live up in Germany. Times are different up there in Germany. I'm going to show you a picture, for this is my friend. You seen this man? Has anybody seen this man? That's Phil Stern, baby. If you seen him, that's up. I'm looking for him. Here's another picture of him. Phil Stern. You see Phil Stern? Now, Phil, let me tell you about Master Phil. He runs my PRT fan page. He hiding. He dug in and hiding from me. I love Phil. He a good man. But he just a little nervous. He didn't want to come on and tell his story. I had to tell his story on DER. Sorry about that. It is what it is. I was young. I needed the money. Okay? Don't judge me. Don't hate. Don't judge. Master Phil. Once again, Master Phil. What we going to do tonight? We got my boy Loki coming on. Loki going to talk about some scary stuff that happened to him. Okay? We don't need Phil tonight. Looking all crazy. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So I'm going to make a phone call in a little bit here. First things I'm going to do, I'm going to get the Patreons out here. We got it. We got to represent the Patreon. All you Patreon members out there. We got to get y'all out there. Y'all support this show. Y'all the ones that make it run. I got my man DJ Anthony over here. We're going to set it up for him. We're going to run this. This is the moon right here. Thank you for all the new Patreon members, too. I'm thanking all y'all. Can't get it done without you. The Patreon, we got Joanne Hartnett, Leighton, Mary Plyler, Stephen Hall, Miguel Guetta, Eric Garcia, Brian, Super Hornet 1, Debbie Wolf, Extreme Reality Check, Histotech, James Estrada, Tim Menard, Ricardo Herrera, Barry, Titan, Chronological, Dead Man Walking, Guy, Don Wells, Melissa Panay, Derek Tribble, Andrea Krask, Shannon, Dick Richards, George Brunette, Wendy Page Williams, Barbara Blendy, Martin Hertel, Terry Fusler, so many. I just so many people to think. This one done changed his name. Sir Cuffy Cuffington, Curtis Turner, Philip Morn, Alexander Murphy, Matthew Durgo, Chris Smith, and Ralph Ayu. That's going to wrap that up. I can't believe how many people support the show. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I'm so proud to be at the head of the table. What I'm going to do right now, take my grill out. I don't know how people do that. Used to have a whole bunch of those that I melted down to make this. I hope you like my costume, folks. I just thought I'd represent, because PRT is going places. Okay, we're rolling, we're moving, we're making things happen. Popular to contrary belief, we are actually moving forward, not backwards. Okay. All right, enough of this. Oh man, Anthony, you hand me my glasses so I can see what the heck I'm doing. I can't even read this stuff. How's everybody doing tonight? Huh? How's that for an introduction? You like that? I figured I'd be somebody else tonight because I was recently accused of having multiple personality disorder in the comment section. Anthony, can you hand me my glasses right here, please, sir? So I can see. They're on the edge of the table. I can't reach them. Probably ripped his jacket if I tried. So, folks, with my multiple personality disorder, next week you'll get Lord Worthington. He'll be coming in to sit in for me. It's one of my many personalities from my personality disorder that I apparently have. Take the hat off. It's a little warm. There we go. Much better. This is actually a real cane, though, actually. And it has a secret inside of it. We're going to set that down. Oh. Dollar bill, y'all. What we're doing tonight, it's going to be nice. I got a buddy of mine, Phil Stern, once again, backed out. That's fine. Phil keeps running. He keeps running. Claims tonight that he has a meeting or something tomorrow in the morning. He can't tell his story. I've already told his story. I just wanted him to come on and tell his story. By the way, those grills are really hard to wear. It is. I have a renewed respect for the fools that used to wear those at the club I used to beat up and take them. But without those, I wouldn't have all this. And this is for you, Barton. I wanted to show you. You can see how my finger's bent. See the finger right there? And then this finger looks like it's been twisted. And, of course, I got the boxer's fracture. Me and Barton were talking about that. I told you I'd show you on the show. There it is. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. I always hated disco. It's all right. Somebody says that's your Halloween clothes. Man, I wear these clothes all the time. Somebody said waiting on the show with DA, dude. I'm going to be on DA's show tomorrow night talking about gargoyles. So I'll be on DA's show tomorrow talking about gargoyles, and then I'm going to be on, I think we haven't made the 100% call yet. I think it's going to be on Friday night with Bettina Moss. Saturday night I'm going to be on Paranormal Expeditions. And then Sunday I'm going to be on with Jason Bland. So for the next 4 days I will be on other people's shows. But my show, the second part that we did with my man Paul Sinclair, is going to drop as usual on Friday. Yeah, I got that new bling bling. Got that new bling bling. So if anybody wants to hear me talk about various subjects on other people's shows, check it out. Gonna have Bettina come on tonight, and then we're going to discuss the details of Friday or Friday night, how we're going to do it, when it's going to be done, blah, blah, blah. Says that I used to play D&D. Can I do any of my characters? I don't remember. It's been so long. Yeah, Paul Sinclair is cool. He's a good guest, and he's going to come back, and he's going to do it again this coming Friday, because we have the part 2 we've already recorded. That's how it's going to happen. People think that I'm going to get up here and talk about something that I already talked about. That's not going to happen. I'm not giving that person any more airtime. It's all good, dude. We're done talking about that individual. So what we have tonight, though, is a show. And I'm going to bring some guests on, and we're going to discuss some things. Waiting on one guy to see if he's going to come on. Let me get into my pocket. Get my magic listening device. Let's see what we got. I'm going to take some comments here. A lot of weird things went on. Went on in my life. But I got witnesses to most of it, so that's what I'm going to do tonight, and bring somebody on that was a witness to some weird stuff that went on. I believe that some people are susceptible to the paranormal, and some people are just susceptible to being paranoid. And it's unfortunate when you do things for people and they feel like you don't do enough. So then they become upset, they become angry, they become resentful, and take it upon themselves to be your enemy. But like I said, I got lots of enemies and I don't really care. Don't bother me. Somebody said sorting out my 1991 WWF trading cards. Can you dig it? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we have a BEK story. I have a buddy who's had several weird paranormal experiences, and I've talked about him on the show before, and he's one of my friends from way back. And we're going to talk about some stuff. He's got some stuff he wants to talk about. He's going to lay it out there. It's been a long time coming. You know, getting all my friends, they got lives, they got things they got to do. Their world doesn't revolve around doing the paranormal, and actually mine don't either. I got a lot of things going on in my life, but when it's time to put in work, I put in work, and that's what I'm doing. Making these shows, doing what I got to do. So here's what we got. We got no moderators in the house. Where are the moderators at, man? Got to let the moderators know what's going on. Can't have the haters up in here, man. As soon as they find out that they ain't being regulated, they'll come up here flying around, buzzing around, acting a fool. Trying to get the moderators in the house up here. I'm seeing all y'all's questions here. Where is Ryan? Probably in his skin. I don't know where Ryan is. We don't talk much. And he's been doing his thing. I've been kind of doing my thing. It's message my mods up in here. I'm surprised they're not in here. But Steven Seagal. I don't want to be called Steven Seagal, I can tell you that. That guy, I never liked him. His stuff never did anything. You know, who cares? You know. I never thought he was legit. So, folks, I'm waiting on my buddy here. He's getting ready, and then we're going to talk about some weird, wild stuff. That's what we're going to talk about. Let me set something straight. My wife, speaking of crystal-looking balls here, my wife made a comment the other day in the Paranormal Lounge. She's asked who had gone to see a fortune teller. I want you to know that neither me nor my wife support that, nor have we gone to them. And, you know, we were just wanting to know if you did, because this is like a Ouija board. She thought, and I thought too, that people would understand that and be like, hey, tell me your crazy story that may have happened to you from going to one. Just as if you were to have played with the Ouija board. I don't condone it. It's not something I would do. But if you have, I'd like to hear about it. And so when she did that, everybody started going on Bible sermons about it. It's like, come on, dude, we're not advocating it. So I am supposed to be falling under a curse because of an angry individual who didn't get enough airtime. So if you guys would please pray for me, I still need the prayers. I'd appreciate it. This thing's fun to mess with, actually. Should I move it or should I leave it? Should I just hold it? Anyways, what do we got going on here? Let's see who we got in the chat room. Christina H. We got Jonathan. What is that? Zukowski. Yeah. Things are so much clearer now with my glasses. Under Siege. Which one was that? I remember Hard to Kill and Under Siege. I think those are the two I remember. Remember, Halloween night, I'm going to be doing a special Halloween night with Barton Nunley and Nick Valente. I'm going to have Nick Valente and Barton Nunley. We're going to all get together. We're going to work. We're going to do a just reading the comments. That's a good question. Where is Gary Lopez at, and why is he not moderating today? I don't even know what a poker board is. Fortune tellers are full of bull. I think definitely some of them are. I read some of the comments in there, and one woman was talking about her and her dad went to see one in New Orleans, and the lady was telling them that they were going to have a long life together and they were going to have kids and be rich. And they were just so embarrassed. They were like, what the heck is this woman talking about? Thank you for the prayers. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donations, because right now we could use them. We're trying to get some things done for the show, and I wanted to read off the winners for the last two shows. So, Mark Kirby, you're getting a Barton Nunley action figure. Barton has received the package. He did sign them. He sent them back. So that is happening, just so you know. Okay. And we had Jim Kovac, or Kovach. I don't know how you say your name. I'm sorry if I messed it up. So he won, and then Eric Lazarus. I just like your name, Lazarus. That's a cool name. So here's the thing. I wanted to say something. My friend Keith van Rinsler, up in Wisconsin, he started a foundation against sex trafficking. And if you want to, Keith, if you're listening, send me the link to that so that I can we can repost it. So I'm going to be. I'm going to be calling him in a minute here. And he can explain to you what's going on with that. Sorry about this. We just got to get this done here. I thought everybody would be ready, but apparently not better. Everybody's as ready as I am to have a good time. So let's get started, shall we? Got to go to Facebook. I'm going to call Keith first, because I had told him I was going to do this last week, and I forgot all about it. I had so much going on, and it's very important. It's something that needs to be done. I'm going to have to put the headphones on. Oh, it is what it is.
Hello. Hello.
Hey there, Keith.
Hey, how you doing?
Keith, this is Keith van Rinsler, folks. Everybody, thank you for the donation. Blues to something. Jamie, thank you for that donation. Zindy Monet. Somebody said, Elastic Machinery. I got my Ken Gerhard in after I got home from work. I decided to do them both at the same time for lunch for work. Cool. So you got your Ken Gerhard. Did you get your Lyle Blackburn? Because you paid for those. And so I appreciate you helping out with that. And the money did go to them. And Ken is going to be using that to go on his trip, whatever, to look for some sort of Thunderbird thingy. So here's the thing. Keith, you got a few minutes here before I get the first guest on, but I promised you
Sure.
last week that I was going to talk about your foundation. We didn't get a chance to. I believe in what you're doing, and I will tell a quick story about something that happened to me in regards to that after you tell what you have. Thank you for the donation, John, the $10 donation. Go ahead and tell everyone, the listeners, Keith, about what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and what happened to you.
Well, my daughter ended up passing away as a victim of human trafficking September 25th of last month. And that spurred me into wanting to start this foundation so no other parent will ever have to deal with this phone call. And what we're doing is going to start, educating people, trying to get in schools and everything else, educate people on the trafficking, and not only help the victims that are out there, but we're looking to help get the victims currently in trafficking out of it.
Yeah, and and it's horrible. Nobody should ever have to lose a child, and that's an awful, awful thing. All joking and dress up aside here. I know I look ridiculous, Keith. Forgive me, but I'm going to tell you a story. I had a police officer friend a long time ago reached out to me to help him I used to live a different life. Okay. And,
Yep.
I actually had a police officer who couldn't go in and do something, and I had to help him get his daughter back. She was addicted to heroin, and she was in a place, and I had to literally go up in there with some of my friends and pull her out of there. And it had nothing to do with me. I never sold heroin. I never did any kind of drug thing like that. It was nothing like that. But I was able to get to her, and it was unfortunate. It was a very sad situation, and it's a long story. I thought one of these days, maybe when I'm really old, I'll write a book about all that stuff that went on back when I was young. But he did repay his favor to me, and I mean he was, and I didn't even bother, didn't even want to ask. Just the fact that I could help them was meant a lot. There was another incident I had when I was in San Antonio one time. This is all joking aside, where I had gone into a house and I went in to use the restroom, and I was walking out down the hallway, and I looked and I saw several women just sitting in a room facing the wall, and I was like, "What the heck is going on here?" And I just pretended like I didn't see it. And when I got out of there, I went straight to the authorities and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." It was a very bizarre thing that happened to me and two of my friends. And so I know that this kind of stuff goes on. I never really checked back in to see what became of that situation, but I know that they did get, there was an investigation, I guess, or something that went on in regards to that. And so, yeah, and I'm not going to sit up here and get into details about all this stuff because it's not something that I want to really get into. But I think that it's one of the most horrible, most heinous crimes that could possibly be committed.
I agree.
That and murder are just absolutely at the top. Anything that involves hurting, children or hurting people, in general, and taking advantage of them it's awful. It's terrible. And I'm going to tell you something. The people that do these kind of things, there's criminals and then there's criminals. And what you do as criminals, these people that do these things, you're going to burn in hell. I just want you to know that. You think that it's a joke, you think it's a game, and that all there is this life, and maybe you get punished in this life, maybe you don't, but the afterlife is going to be a horror show that doesn't end. So I'm just going to let you know that. Have fun while it lasts, and you're going to pay for your crimes. Nobody gets out of here unscathed. There's a reason why I believe the way I do about a religion and a lot of other things, because I don't believe that you ever really get away with anything. No matter how small, no matter how big, you will pay the price. And the people who did the things that they did, involving your daughter, they will pay one way or the other. And Keith and I will continue to keep you in our prayers. We all will, folks. We're going to keep him lift up Keith van Rinsler. I believe in what you're doing. Be sure and post that link in the PRT groups, all of our groups. You're allowed to post that. You can post it on my personal page, and if anyone feels like they want to help with this situation, please do.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Yeah. Other than that, how have you been, Keith? How are you doing?
Doing okay. Busy putting this together. Learned a lot of new things about it. Learned that Wisconsin's number 5 in the U.S. for trafficking.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of work to do up here.
Somebody just said there is no hell. There's not a hell in the way that a lot of people think. There are multiple hells, just as there are multiple heavens. But you will pay, and karma does. It is a real thing. Okay, it does. It will get you. Don't worry, Keith. I'm gonna let you go. I got to make some calls, but I want you to know that we are standing by you, and that if you need anything, give me a call. You got my number.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Josh.
Yep. You have a good. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Something that I feel strongly about. Anything involving taking away of someone's rights, kidnapping, hurting, anything that involves doing something to a defenseless woman or a child. I'm not saying that it's okay to hurt men. In all the years that I fought and did the things that I did, I never hurt a woman or a child. Never. I put my hand to the Bible on that one. Never hurt a woman or a child. Can't say the same for guys. I've done a lot of things, guys. But, I mean, it came with the territory. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And I wasn't a snitch. But I draw the line at several things. Even back in the old days when I was running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff, there were certain lines you didn't cross with me. And that was definitely one of them. Yep, a pound is a pound is a pound. Everything balances out. Oh, you're right. Boys are trafficked too, Amy. Boys, women, children. It's just children in general, men. It's something that's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it. Houston is a huge traffic center. Somebody just said that right there. Yes, it is. It's horrible. 2019, I had a woman that was on one of our properties. And when I questioned her about if she lived there, and this guy told her not to answer my questions, to look down at the ground, that went over like a lead balloon. I basically slapped him into the next dimension. I think he's still trying to find his way back. True story. My brother was with me. We were working security there. And then I had the police called on me. See how that works? They come and they start harassing me because the poor guy's has been slapped. Because I hurt him. He was, for all intents and purposes, he was trafficking that woman. Yeah. That's how ridiculous these people are. And then to me, it's something to be, these pimps and all these people that do these things, they're to be mocked. That's what this is. It's a mockery of you. That's what you are. You're a mockery. You're nothing but to be made fun of. You're silly. And Diablo, you were there. Second night we were there, a woman was stabbed at the bus stop and came over, and it's horrible. It's horrible what goes on. See, yep, Dick, I agree with you. There's zero neutral ground in this spiritual warfare. You're either good or you're bad. In between. So, that being said, folks, I got a few phone calls to make. I got to talk to somebody real quick. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to get her on the line. And Bettina, I don't know if you're in there in the chat. If you're ready to go, we're going to talk. We're going to try and get this going. I'm supposed to go on your show Friday, but we may make it Saturday. But we got to figure it out to get the time there, because my wife's got something I got to do for her on Friday. So we'll see what we can do about the time. Yeah. Yeah, and not only are they trafficking young people, they're trafficking teenagers, people in their early 20s even. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. These people are just crazy. Have your fun, evil. Do what you're doing. Terrible day of judgment's going to come. You're all going to pay. See if I can get these on with the hat on. Look at this grill. Isn't this grill funny? This is fun. Look at this. Can you dig it? Yeah, baby. Yeah. I don't have people wear those. I used to have about 3 of these in a souvenir box, along with broken gold. Not the Texas one, but this one and this one and these 2 right here were all made, specially made by the spoils of war. Let's put it that way. You pick a fight, you lose, you get mugged. That was how it was. But even I, as bad as I was back in the day, I never did those kind of things. Never, ever involved in hurting anybody, like an innocent person. I was even told that they didn't really mess with me because I didn't mess with tourists or college kids or innocent people. I was always fighting with other gangsters and other thugs. That's where the money was anyway. Taking what they had. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Woo! All right, enough of that. I can't stop playing with this thing. This thing's so cool. My wife got this for me. I couldn't believe I was so happy. I was like, what are we doing with it? And she's like, you're going to dress up. And I go, I am? What you talking about, Willis? So I did. This is actually her idea to do all this. I haven't dressed up. I wore a Jason mask with a Freddy glove one year in Halloween, like 15 years ago or something like that. So anyway, keep Keith van Rinsler, folks. Keep him in your prayers. We're going to have his link set up. But right now, we're going to make a phone call. We're going to call my homegirl B.
Hello?
B, are you there?
Yes, I just made it home. Hey, Josh.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I got my headphones kind of sideways, but yeah, I don't know. Are you watching the show or are you just standing around talking?
I'm just standing around talking. I just made it in the house, so
Okay.
I can watch the show. Hold on just a second.
You don't have to. It doesn't matter. You might not
Okay,
recognize
yeah,
me because I have my alter ego going on here. So
You always got an alter ego, Josh.
yeah, though that's what I've been taught. I heard that I had a personality disorder. That's what the comment section said. I'm crazy. I've surrounded myself with famous and powerful people so I could be crazy, so I could act a fool.
No, Josh, they just can't handle the realness. That's all it is.
It is. When you're too real, you know, you're too tough, and they don't like that. Nobody likes tough. They want you to be soft and putty-like so they can run you over. Bettina Moss,
Exactly.
everyone. Bettina has a show. I've watched it a few times, and I think she's knocking it out of the park. She's talking about quitting at the end of the year. I hope she doesn't because I think she can really go somewhere. And I think that she needs to continue to do this. Folks, I'm going to be on her show, and we haven't made up our minds 100% on how we're going to do it Friday or Saturday. I'm supposed to be on Paranormal Expeditions on Saturday, but we're going to see what we can do. Maybe we can work it out to where we can get it on there on Friday, but I'm not 100% sure. If not, then we'll do it Saturday. We'll get it done. I got a full slate of shows to do this week, and I got I think 2 or 3 more next week. I normally don't do shows, but I said I was going to do my friends' shows, and I have kept my word so far. I've done Paul Sinclair's. I'm going to do yours, Jason Bland, Tony Merkel, and I'm going to be on D.A. Roberts' show tomorrow night. We're going to talk about gargoyles. It's going to be really cool. So we got a bunch of stuff lined up, and then I'm going to have a big Halloween special, and I'm also going to be doing a show with Elijah Henderson real soon, Albert Rosales, and Kenny Irish. So there's a whole lot to take in. Kenny Irish was recently offered a show from a big time network. So we're going to see what goes down with that, see if he decides to do that, because Kenny's definitely got the talent. But Bettina, you do your show. You want to talk about it? Tell us about your show, how you got started and what you do.
Yeah, I got started I got started in 2020, November of last year. I started my show because I've been a listener and a fan of yours and several other YouTube channels. Britton Salwin and a few others for several years now. And before I had my own dogman encounter in 2013, the first one ever, and multiple encounters and sightings after that. So because of that, I decided to start my own group and start doing interviews and interviewing eyewitnesses and guests for my show. I kind of basically geared it towards cryptids and paranormal because I felt that when it comes to dogman activity and phenomena as it relates to all that, it's not just cut and dry, just straight flesh and blood. There's too many different paranormal or
Layers.
supernatural aspects, yeah, to them. So I called my group Cryptonormal Encounters with B Moss. So when it comes to that, I guess a lot of people, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you get a passion um for it, and it gives you to a point where you become almost obsessed with talking about dogman or cryptids. Me, it's more dogman, and I do allow people to share their experiences, paranormal and Bigfoot, on the show. But I'm more, I guess, centered towards dogman because that's what I've had multiple encounters with and sightings with. So that's what my show is about mostly, and what my group is about, because I just want to give the members and eyewitnesses a voice and get the information and the word out there because it's important. And I think people need to know that these cryptids are out there. Just because, like, for the most part, the government is trying to hide it from us, and most people, even you probably know this too, Josh. Our families don't believe it a majority of the time, and they look at us like we're crazy. I still get that to this day. So basically that's how I got into it. Multiple sightings. My first one was 2013, and the latest incident that I had as far as Dogman was concerned was this year in August. It's a couple of months ago. But I didn't see it at the time. I went out there into those woods behind the house where my parents used to live at, and I actually did catch something. I don't know if it was a dogman, goatman, or what it was, but ended up catching that on camera, and I got a lot of flack for that when I shared that picture in the group. Well, I got called a hoaxer, saying that it was staged, and so it just becomes to a point to where you want to get the word out there and you want to let people understand and know about it, and to also let people know that what they expect as far as dogman when you're taking pictures and stuff like that is concerned, you're the whole Hollywood version that they're expecting to see on camera is not what they're going to get in real life. It's just not.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a whole big thing with this, and it's just a lot people don't realize that we deal with when it comes to cryptids behind the scenes, um, and in front of the scenes. People just think it's just easy. We put a show out there for you. You put a show out there. They don't realize what kind of work goes into this, and I think that when it comes to this stuff, people just need to have more of appreciation for the hosts that put out a show, the time that goes into it, the time it goes into running your group, the time it goes into um, dealing with your admin, your moderators, your shows, the eyewitnesses that we interview. Some of those interviews are 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And so it's not just like we put something out there. So I just feel like people need to show more appreciation and understand that when it comes to this stuff, it's not like you're dealing with your regular animal. So I wanted to try to bring stuff out there, and I kind of center my group towards trying to make people have common sense when it comes to dealing with these creatures, and trying to make them understand. Because, like, at the end of the day, we get attacked a lot. Attacked a lot. Yeah, I know
it's just
you
on
do.
how you respond. Like me, I fire back. I'm like, I don't really care. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're like me. You have a good job, a decent job. I know what you do for a living. I'm not going to say it, but you have a good job, and we don't. If we can walk away from this, and I'm financially, I'm fine. It doesn't matter. Some of these people think I'm going to run them out of this, and if you do, oh well, so what? I have nothing to lose, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go and just do my other two jobs that I have. It doesn't matter. I have multiple skills. I even do stand-up comedy. So, the thing is, people think, oh yeah, I want to destroy him, blah blah blah. Well, you better there's a lot to destroy. So, just,
Well, and what people don't understand a lot of the times, like like I told you, Josh, before, and I tell people all the time, like at the end of the day, Josh is a regular person. He's down to earth. I mean, you have to look at it like you're subscribed to several different channels and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Josh goes to work. He has a wife. He has family. He's a regular person. So
Kind of fading
and
out there, B.
hold on. I was just saying that, like, at the end of the day, people also need to understand that even though we put these shows out for them, even though you're an internet sensation, an internet personality, they look at you like a celebrity. When you get into this, and that's just what it is, it comes with the territory, but people also need to realize and understand and respect the fact that you are doing a service for them by putting out these shows for the people who get out, who have had encounters or who want to learn more about Dogman or Bigfoot or any other cryptid. They just need to understand that there's a certain level of respect that's due because you take time and hours and all that kind of stuff out of your day in order to bring this information to them. So it's a little bit, even though it's for information purposes, it's for an entertainment purposes too. But when people want to come out there and go on the attack, it's ridiculous and it's not necessary. It's not necessary because you're doing this because you love people. That's just how I feel about it.
You've had
So
some
to
of
get
the
it,
same, we're not going to get into, but we've talked off air. We've had multiple conversations, and you've had some of the same people dealings. It's like they make the rounds and they trash you.
yes, it is.
And you've been very fair and quiet about it. One particular person, very psycho, and you just were like, hey, whatever. But me, people are like, oh, you're always beefing with somebody. Yeah, because I don't, when they mess with me, I'm not nice like other people. Like B is nice to a degree. Like me, I'm not. When it comes, you come at me, I'm going to come back at you tenfold because this is who I am. I'm not going to let it slide and go, oh, okay, because you're just going to go to the next person and victimize them. So it needs to stop at some point. And they make the rounds, and if they don't get what they want, then they make threats and all kinds of other stuff. And
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Because when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, they want to destroy you. And sometimes I wonder, there's a lot of fallouts that people don't realize that goes along with it when you have a group or when you got your YouTube channel. There's a lot of competition involved in this. There's a lot of people who want to jealousy, backbiting, gossiping. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So, like, at the end of the day, like I always said, like, you have to sometimes you have to, like, pretty much pull back from doing it and just concentrate on family and your regular life because it becomes consuming to a certain point.
Draining.
So, yeah, draining. And, I remember something somebody told me one time: when you get too involved in it, doing dogman shows and stuff like that on a regular basis, dealing with a group, all that kind of stuff, it comes to a certain point where you deal with the supernatural aspect of it too, because sometimes when you do it too much, it comes to a point where you start having, I guess, somewhat of PTSD or depression and dreams and nightmares as far as Dogman coming to you in your dreams and stuff. And I always thought that was ridiculous before, but now it has happened to me a couple of times this year already. A couple of nights ago, I had like the worst, most disturbing Dogman dream that I ever had. And it was so real because I woke up out of my sleep and I said, oh my God, like I had to wake up and pray. I was terrified. Like, and I knew that that wasn't just an ordinary dream. I knew that there was some message in that, but it was terrifying. But, at the end of the day, like I said before, a lot of work goes into this and people need to understand that. That's why, a few months ago, Josh, several months ago, actually back last year when I started the group, my intention was to start the group to put it out there for people to understand about these cryptids. And not only that, my main focus to begin with is that I wanted to spotlight and interview the interviewers, the ones like you and the other ones who are out there, Jeff Nadoni, several people who are doing shows, because I just feel like you guys don't get enough credit. Nobody comes and like reaches out to you, but you guys are the ones who put this information out there for us. So let's interview these guys. Let's interview them. Let's show credit and let's give credit where credit is due. So that's how I originally started it out, plus my encounter and my sightings and all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to bring stuff to the table, get some questions asked, and get some answers and just bring it full circle.
Folks, the noise that you hear in the background is her wrapping up my Christmas present. Thank you for getting that.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't know I
I'm
was
so
making all
happy
that
that you're wrapping that for me because I need some Under Armour socks quarter top length. I asked Jason Bland
my
today
God.
he runs
I feel bad.
Under Armour, and he was like,
y'all
said they're having shipping supply problems. I couldn't even get them on Amazon. But thank you, B. I appreciate you looking out for me, sister.
Sorry about that, John.
I'm messing with you. Here's the thing: people don't realize though, B. You did the same thing I did. You just kind of like hit like a comet, boom, and then you just kind of spread out. Ooh, everybody was like, "Who's this woman?" B Moss. You had a panel on there one day. I'm gonna give you some cred here. You had 4 women on there. You had Bobby Atrastain. She's awesome. I mean, you had some really interesting stuff going on, and I sat there and I was listening, and I was captivated for about 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. I was captivated. I was listening and I was like, man, this is great. You know, and you got some stuff going on. You've helped another person that's a friend of ours, Marvin, with his podcast. And at one time, me and you were on opposite ends of a rivalry, which wasn't a rivalry. It was just kind of like something that really should have happened. But you were the voice of reason, and I credit you with bringing us together, you know, because ultimately you sat us down and said, hey, this is childish. And me and Marvin, now we're buddies, you know. I just sent him some PRT gear the other day, you know what I'm saying?
So you did.
So he can represent up in the house. But, you know, I totally are in the same camp with y'all, though, because there's a spiritual aspect to this. Me and you and Marvin had like a 3-hour conversation one day about this. And it was like there is a spiritual side to this that people have a tendency to overlook. And I think that when the battle lines are drawn in this camp, unfortunately, there's people that are flesh and blood. And if you deviate from that, then they come straight at you and they come at you sideways. They try to attack you and then they don't stop. And it's like, you know, if you're atheist, why do you got to try to make me not believe in God? That's my thing. It's like, I'm going to believe in God regardless. Okay. So if I'm not over there trying to proselytize to you, why are you trying to proselytize to me? You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I was in Denver one time walking down the street and this dude's handing out information about atheism. And I'm like, you are literally passing out information about there not being a God. Like, how is that? It's like a religion. So these people that, you know, it's like they're attacking us because we say, hey, there could be something else going on here. And for a long time, I felt like I was alone in this battle. And then I started to reach out that we're all in this together. There's other people out there that are like me that say, hey, there could be more than one thing going on here. What's so wrong about that? You know?
Absolutely, because you got to look at several things when it comes to these dog men. For one, I've seen it with my own eyes personally. I've actually, like, I don't know why, I can't tell you, but I already knew about them already because of listening to those shows. Listening to several different shows. I already knew that they existed, but I just never thought I would see one. But after I seen that first one, I knew after that, you know what? I'm fixing to start taking pictures on a regular basis. I didn't take a picture that night because the first time you see it, you're not thinking about taking a picture of it.
No.
But, no, absolutely not. I'm in awe. I'm like, oh my God, what am I looking at right now? I cannot believe right now because I actually, like I said, I had my headlights on it. I had just pulled up at my parents' house. I'm looking straight ahead, Josh, into the wood line. And I'm like, I know that's not what I think it is. I turn my high beams on. When I turn those high beams on, tears immediately started rolling down my eyes. I see a jet black dog man, 8.5 to 9 feet tall, standing there, like it was getting ready to head down the path into the woods. And when I turned the high beams on it, it didn't turn like how a person would like just, you know, basically turn all the way around and look. It turned at the waist and a regular dog or a regular animal would look back at the car. It didn't do that. It turned and looked straight directly into the windshield, like into the driver's seat. And it made eye contact with me for 8 to 10 seconds, I'm going to guess. And when it did that, it basically, I kept thinking, please God, don't let that thing walk over here because I know sometimes my automatic locks on the car door do not lock.
Oh no.
So I was thinking, please God, don't, because I would pull up sometimes at home and my ex-husband would come out and he would like come out straight out and walk and open the door. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I would think, look, what if somebody just like roll up to a stop sign and somebody, you know, opens the door? So I thought, please don't let this be one of them times that this happens. Don't let that thing walk over here. And just as I was saying that in my head, right then at that exact moment, like I heard this voice inside of my head say, "Oh, it's just you. No big deal." It casually turned around back to the direction it was heading. It was standing on 2 feet. Um, it was about 8.5, 9 feet tall. It had that bodybuilder, muscular pecs. It had all that, the hocks and everything. It didn't have the amber eyes that most dog man that you get reported have. It had like the luminescent blue, really beautiful blue, brilliant eyes, luminescent.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned and continued on its path down the woods. So when it said that, it made me feel like, okay, I know you. I've seen you for years. It's just you. I caught it off guard. This was not one of those times where it's peeking out from behind the tree. I seen the full body and everything. So after that day, because I would go visit my parents every single weekend during hunting season, my ex-husband would go hunting, and he would be gone the whole weekend. And I was like, I'm not gonna stay here at the house because I want to go visit my parents. I can be doing other stuff and enjoying my time visiting my family. So but after that weekend, every weekend that I would go visit my parents, I never again would go outside and smoke and thinking, okay, if there's anything back. I never thought about anything. I used to play in the backyard for years and it would be dark. I mean, there's no headlights back there. I mean, no street lights. It's just pitch black woods. If anything's back there, there's deer, possums, raccoons, nothing else. I didn't think about it. But after that day, I never, if I did go outside to smoke or anything like that, I would go and I would run full speed to the car, get in the car, lock the door, and I would leave the house door unlocked. But after that, anytime I came after dark, I would always call inside the house and say, "Hey, can y'all unlock the door?" I would never come out anymore after that, after dark. But it's crazy. Now I've seen them with my own eyes in real time, actually. And I know this is a paranormal aspect of it, Josh. I've actually watched it in real time manifest before my eyes or come into existence where you can see the head, but it's like, okay, now there's no tree, there's no leaves or nothing like past this point. So where's the rest of the body?
Yep.
And you're looking like, what the hell? I've actually seen it disappear. I've also caught it on, I ain't gonna say EVP because I don't have an EVP device, but I've actually recorded with my cell phone and caught audio of them like as if they've gone completely invisible. And I've actually got audio where I've heard them sniffing and snorting behind me, grunting, and there's even a noise that sounds like metal dragging across concrete, and there's nothing behind me at all. So I've got audio. I have audio of that. So and video. So all I'm saying is that there's a paranormal aspect to them. They do things that natural animals don't do. So that's that exploration. That's my interest in trying to find out about them and to interview eyewitnesses to get their viewpoint. There's more to them than just flesh and blood.
That's right. And when you come, when I do the show with you, I hope that we do a discussion on your show, and we get into some of that stuff. We're gonna pick up where we left off here. Graydon McKay, thank you for the donation. Amy, thank you for your donation. Somebody asked who this was. This is Bettina Moss. She has a show. I believe you do it every Friday or Saturday. Which one?
Mostly Fridays at 7 o'clock, and the group 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It just depends. But Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss. That's on Facebook. I haven't come over to YouTube yet. I'm just trying to kind of debate because I planned on stopping this year. I've been doing it for a year now, but Josh is trying to talk me out of it, and I'm trying to decide right now. I'm kind of in that half between state, but I'm enjoying it.
I think we need more female podcasters out there that do a good job, and I think that there are a few. There's some out there that are really doing it, but they're not making as big of a wave, and so I know Ashley, she's got Wednesdays We Talk Weird, and then you got your show, and I hope you guys do good, and so we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be Friday or Saturday. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna do it. I know I had agreed to Paranormal Expeditions on Saturday. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try and make it work. We'll see what happens. But Bettina, we will continue this conversation. You are doing what you have to do. I always enjoy our conversations.
Yeah, I do too, Josh. I really appreciate you, and I thank you very much. And I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to the show. You just make sure you reach out, let me know, hit me up, and let me know whatever date you come up with if you want to do it.
I will do that. I will try to get on that by tomorrow for you. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Josh. You have a good night.
All right, you too. I'll see you, B.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. So that was Bettina Moss, good friend of mine. I can take these headphones off. They're hurting, especially with my earrings on today. Y'all didn't know I had these. I could wear earrings, did you? You'll find that I'm full of surprises, including a fake hand that my dad cut off. Ah, who's that? Who's that for the no prize? Can anybody tell me who that was? Little crybaby. Thought he was a Jedi. Dad beat him up. Beat him up real bad. Made him. Y'all probably don't even know. Anyways, it would be unfortunate if I had to leave a garrison here. You know, my buddy, Lord Worthington, he's met all these people. He's met Darth Vader. He's met Cobra Commander. He's met Megatron. He's friends with a lot of these people. I'm just saying, I'm not as fortunate as he is to have all those kind of friends. So he's met Thanos. Not bragging, but I know him. So it's like 6 degrees of separation because he knows all those people. So it's kind of like I know them through proxy. So just so y'all know. Anyways. Oh, somebody said Anakin. Boo, you're wrong. Bam, it was Luke. It was Luke, yo. Man. Anakin was his dad. Became Darth Vader. Or Dark Vader, as one of my friends insisted on calling him when we were kids. We actually got into a fight about that. I actually hit him with a math book. We were arguing, and I was so tired of him calling him Dark Vader. So he gleeked Kool-Aid at me, and I hit him with a math book. He's one of them annoying kids, though, man. Like, he was, like, spoiled. Like, my mom would hit me with the chancla if I wasted food or anything like that. And this kid would do, like, a Cookie Monster impersonation, shoving Fig Newtons and Chips Ahoy in his mouth, and they'd fall everywhere. And I'm going like, I was poor. We got cookies and desserts maybe once, maybe twice a week. And I'm over there like, fool, I would eat that. Why are you, you're literally just wasting food. His mother comes in and goes, oh, hi, Ronnie dear. No spanking, no smack upside the head, no chancla flying across the room. Not my mom. My mom hit me with every syllable. Every one of them. She was not playing. It was chancla time. She hit me. She literally, that's an urban myth they say about the Mexicanos hitting their children with the chancla. No. My head is literally warped in the back from getting hit in the head with the chancla so many times. It's probably where my personality disorder came from. Oh my gosh, where am I? Who am I? Oh my gosh. This isn't Cincinnati? I'm not in Cincinnati? Oh my goodness. I'm back. Whoa, what's going on? Did I black out? Did I become one of my alter egos? Because my show was failing. Now I'm going to have a curse put on me. Bam! So if something bad happens, that's what did it. No, bad stuff happens all the time, is happening, and has been. It's just part of life. Okay. Somebody says wooden spoon for me, Amy. Yes, happened to me too. My brother has a funny story because he is my half brother. We had different moms, and his mother hit him with a wooden spoon, gave him a scar. I'm sorry for laughing, but it's like, dude, when you grew up like I did, like to me, Cookie Monster gave me anxiety, dude. Okay, everybody's like, oh, Cookie Monster, yay! I hated that blue turd. Because he was up there, and he wasn't eating a darn thing. He was just going all over the place. And I was going like, thinking his mom's going to come in any minute and smack him, just like my friend that was wasting the cookie. No, nothing, no repercussions. He just wasted food. Then when you get a little older, you realize he's a puppet, and these fools are just shoving fake food into his mouth. And then they're showing this to all these children in third world countries. Okay, I was overseas in third world country, and they were watching Sesame Street. And a lot of these kids were not well fed, and they were watching a blue puppet shove cookies into its fake mouth and watching it crumble and fall everywhere. And the looks on their faces, bro, I'm telling you, you're like, even me at that age, I'm like, I was hungry over there. I was like, I would eat that. Thank you for wasting that. Terrible. Then you had all kinds of weird stuff going on. Snuffleupagus, hey, what's going on, Big Bird? Why was Big Bird always outside in the street? What was he doing? Was he selling? What was he doing? And then you had Oscar. Then you realize as you get older, you have a lot in common with Oscar the Grouch. Lives in a trash can. He's angry, hates the world. You know, I can see why. He'd say, get away from me. Go away. Nothing to see here. Get what you get. You deserve. You get what you deserve. Then Kermit the Frog here, he'd come out and do his little, show up and promote the Muppets or whatever. But I don't know. Now he's hated Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy was so annoying. She was so annoying. It's all made by the same people. They were puppets, but when I was a kid, it was like they were real, until I got a little older and I was like, these are just puppets, I mean, I always knew that they weren't like me, but, when you was real little, you thought, yes, these are fake, but you thought that they, not fake, but you knew they weren't like you, but you didn't know exactly how real they were because they were moving and talking and stuff. And then you come to the realization, dude, these are puppets. And they're feeding them cookies that I wish I could eat myself. So yeah, it gave me some problems. It gave me some anxiety. Miss Piggy was abusive to Kermit, absolutely. But years later, toward the end of Kermit's career, he became Yoda. And I believe that there's never been a picture of them side by side. You can't prove to me that is not Yoda. That Kermit did not become him. Slapped a couple ears on him. Prove you cannot. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh, but Pepperidge Farms, they got to keep it to Pepperidge Farm himself. No. What you say? You buy some of these Milano cookies, we call it even. I saw what you did last summer. The summer before that. Eating Pepperidge Farm cookies by the sleeve. Lying about your diet. I know what you were up to. Anyways, guys, so what we got going on, we have a show here. Let's get back to the show. We talked to Bettina Moss, Spoke to Brian Bowden earlier about maybe jumping on. Brian Bowden's got a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to be working with him eventually. Patrick Meechan is another guy. Patrick Meechan is a person who wrote some books, and he has a lot to say. So let me get through this next call here, and then if we have time, we're going to get to Meechan. Let me just type this up here. All right. So be sure and check out my show, Bettina Moss. I believe it's going to be Friday or Saturday. I hate to say I don't know. Should know more tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm on with D.A. Roberts, and I think Nick Valente just sent me a message saying he's going to be on the show tomorrow too. So that'll be interesting. And the show is about gargoyles. And if you know anything about my show, you know that there have been some encounters that people have had with these things that I've reported on. So here we go. Let me get to Colin. A friend of mine. and then we're going to get into his encounters. Let's get started. This is where the show. Hello?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, Loki? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Oh, not much, man. I'm on my show. And
I've been watching over to turn it down because I got like a 30-second change between the phone and the TV.
Did you need time?
No, I'm good. I'm
okay,
sitting here waiting on you.
Okay, good. You're sitting here waiting. First things first, did you cut your hair?
Oh, the hair is gone.
I was like, okay, because I saw that and I was like, no way. You had grown your hair so long. You had an illness not too long ago, folks. Let me get to the history here. This is an individual. We call him Loki. His real name's Caleb. Loki, I've known you since 1999, I believe.
I think that's it.
We've known each other for over 20. It's been 22 years. And you and Chief, that's been on my show a few times, y'all were best friends at one time. You were really close. And you actually never lived at my house, but you were always at my house. Let's put it that way. And you actually house sat for me and a few other things. So Loki knows a thing or two about some of the hauntings that went on at my house. So Loki has been ill. Do you want to tell the folks what happened?
No, I'm all right. You can just talk about the story.
Okay. Anyways, he had something that happened to him, and so he's been out for a while. But he's getting better. He's gotten better, and he's doing good. And so now he's able to tell these stories. So what I wanted to do tonight was let's talk about what's happened to you. I've been talking about this for a long time, about the different encounters you had. So I was just going to go down the line and let people hear, because it is Halloween time and it is that time of year. And so for the live stream tonight, I wanted to get you on here, and we can start with whatever you want. I mean, we can get into it. Just pick one.
All right. I don't know where to start. I guess let's talk about the Black Eyed Kids.
Good. That's a good place to start.
All right. So this was I don't remember what year. I think it was like 2002 or 3 or something crazy. It was like a weird night, right? So we're at the bar, and it's like a normal day, like a Wednesday or a Thursday, nothing crazy. And
slow nights.
Yeah, it was kind of a slow night. And you know how the night stands off for me because it wasn't like started right there. It was like earlier in the day. There was lightning and thunder, and there was like no clouds or anything, which is weird. No rain, nothing weird. And we were like, "Oh shit, this is a weird ass night."
Watch your language.
And yeah, oh my bad. And so yeah, we're basically messing around, and the night's over, and it's like 3:00 in the morning at this time, and you know how we usually walk one of the female employees back to their cars
because it can be rough down there.
Yeah, and you don't want somebody walking around at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. by themselves. So even the guys would bunch up because that's how freaky it is out there. And so I'm walking this girl back to her car. She's in a parking garage pretty close to where we always park. And so we're up on like the second, third floor of the parking garage. And we walk past these kids, and they're like, we're hungry. And we both turn and look at them. And their eyes are like solid black, and they're real thin, and they're like in drab clothes. Like, I don't know if it was like out of time clothes or what, but they were like kind of just gray. It was kind of gray. But they were asking us for food, and they just kept saying they were hungry. And I say, I don't have any food on me. It's like 3 a.m, and basically turn around and get her into her car. And then as I come back, I'm walking past, and they're all gone. There's like nothing there. And I was gonna, maybe give them some money or something after the fact, but they were like, they had just like disappeared. It was like within 10 seconds. And this is a big open parking garage. You'd be able to see them for another, 20, 30 seconds in any direction. So it's kind of weird. They just disappeared, but they were like asking for food, they were like, we're hungry. And their eyes were pale black. And it was just weird.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that story, and we worked in an area in a place that had a lot of weird stuff going on. The bar was haunted, and it wasn't a bar; it was a nightclub. And in fact, it is actually the largest dance club in Austin, if not all of Central Texas. It was a 3-level dance club with a huge capacity, and we would pack the house. And it was a hip hop club on some nights. It was a disco on other nights. And so we had a lot of weird stuff that went on. There were times when I went in to do liquor order, help out with the different, things that needed to be done in the afternoons or whatever. And I'd hear pool balls clacking. I know that me and you one time, I remember this, we were working together when we were remodeling. And we were both upstairs and we heard like a moan or something that came from the back of the club. And it was like, I think it was me, you, and Squid, and we were all standing there upstairs, and we just heard it. Like, it was weird. It was like it came from nowhere. There was no one else in there because the manager at the time and the owner had left to go to Lowe's or Home Depot or something. So we were upstairs, and of course we probably weren't doing any work because nobody was there to make us do it. So we were sitting there at the bar, and we just heard like a weird moan or groan or I don't know what that was, but and that happened more than once. Multiple people had said that they had heard stuff. I know one time it happened to me. It happened to Squid, that somebody had pulled the rag out the back of our pocket. Now, our friend Eddie Versace, right?
Yeah.
Versace wants to go. He was just in town recently, and unfortunately he was in the hospital and I couldn't go see him. But he wanted us to go back and do like a documentary or do like a show of just about the club. And there's so much stuff that went on that it was almost impossible. I said, dude, we'd have to get, Willie and Loki and Jerome, Squid and Diablo and Scorpion and everybody that worked there, Chico. The problem is there's so many of us, that we all call ourselves brothers, there's so many of the brothers that you'd have to get everybody together, but the same thing happened to me, believe it or not, Loki, when I was at R. Asher's bar. I had saw Noka there, and he had just gotten out of somewhere, and so I went to visit him, and it was me and Nelly, and we heard 3 bangs on the wall, or maybe the roof, and Arash was like, it was at the end, it was the middle of the night, about 4 a.m, everybody was gone, and he's like, dude, this is like Roxy, because the Roxy's the place we used to work, and it was weird, man, and so that was like, well, that's our cue, because at the end of the night, we'd all be hanging out, doing stuff, talking, making plans, whatever, and we would hear clapping noises or banging noises, or we'd all be downstairs. And I remember one time in particular, we were all downstairs and I was talking. I was giving my bouncers a talking to. It wasn't anything you did, but it was something that I think it was Lee actually that did it. He was always doing something. So old Salty there had done something and we were talking about it and nobody was upstairs. And we could hear click, clack, and people talk. And it was like, what the heck? And, guys like me and you and the initiated were just kind of like, okay, that's just what it is. But the new guys, they were all like, whoa.
Somebody's up there. Something's up there.
And Loki, you were just very point. You're like, it's just ghosts and demons. And we had people actually quit. We had people quit. I mean, it was crazy. But I wanted to talk about the black-eyed kid thing. I remember when that happened. I remember you told me about it like the next day, and there was a little bit of teasing and joking, but then there was.
I think it freaked me out for like a couple of weeks there, and that's
you didn't like
probably
it
why
when you were joking about it.
No, I don't like talking about it. Period. It's weird. It's just one of them things.
Yeah.
It's like weird.
Yeah, and so that was your black-eyed kid encounter. But here's another thing. And I've talked about this on my show. Loki was one of the witnesses to the Reptilian guy. I don't know what to call him. We just call him that because we don't know exactly what to call the dude. And there were 2 of them. There was one guy.
There was 2. I thought they looked like they could be like related, but they were like friends. It was like weird.
Yeah, and one of them was more darker, like dusky hued, and the other one looked more white. But the one, the blondish haired, lighter skinned guy, he went out with a girl that worked it. I don't want to say her name, but she moved to New Zealand, literally, to get away from this guy, which was crazy. She moved, halfway across the world, and she was terrified of this man. And I've told the story on the show. Now, I remember the first report I got that was weird about this guy was you and another bouncer, which I don't have permission to say his name, but you and him were like best friends at that time. And it wasn't Chief, it was another guy. And we all did MMA together. We were all, y'all were students of one of my guy that from years ago. Now you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. We were in the back. We were like, I used to live with him.
Yeah, and y'all were in the back of the club, and I walked back there. This is the first, of course, the first time I'm hearing of this. I'm not knowing what to believe. So go ahead and tell what happened, like what you saw.
So we were like, how at I think it was the end of the night, right? So we're all taking care of the bar, like clean up and this and that and something. And so we were in the back. We had went and took some trash out, and then we would stay out there and like smoke cigarettes and shit and wait for everybody else to throw the trash away so we didn't have to do it all. That's how lazy we were. We would just
the new guys try to get the new guys to do it, not always be like, dude, help them out, and y'all would try to get away because the veterans knew where to go to hide, and it was a huge club. And Jack was one of the worst. Y'all would hide, but
yeah, we would, and basically we came in, and one of those guys that were there, because the guy had worked, the one guy was working there, and his buddy was there, so he kind of like vouched for him and let him stay there.
Omar or something, he called him.
Yeah, that dude apparently didn't want to take the trash out because nobody else was doing it, and he was like bitching and yelling, and you have to go through like that swinging door right there, and then it's like upstairs to get outside the back, and he was like carrying trash, and he was like talking to himself, and we started laughing. We were like laughing at him, and he turns and looks at us, and his face, it was just like he blinks, and then it blinks from the other direction, and it was kind of fucking weird. And and he, oh my bad, and he was like really, really angry, like he was pissed off. But he blinked. I remember he blinked, and then he blinked the other way, like from left to right, which was weird. Instead of up and down, how you blink like that normally.
And you guys told me that, and I was more angry about you guys not doing the trash.
Yeah.
But that was the first report I got of this guy. And then, of course, there was others that came. My brother, y'all were in the front of the bar one night with, remember, Big John? And he said something about the guy, and then Willie said, God rest his soul, but Willie said something about the guy, and everybody was like talking about this guy. What is going on with this guy? And then, of course, his friend was dating the bartender, and then she told us an absolutely crazy story about how during intercourse his eyes would change. And of course, she told us that his back had some sort of weird ridge. Now, when the fight took place, I know that when the fight happened, that ended up like. That's when I realized that this was I never saw the eyes, but I did feel something on his back when he got pushed out the double doors. And of course, Fraser was there, there was a bunch of people there, and everybody was like talking about his back looking weird or feeling weird. Now you're a witness when you beat someone up like that, because he had attacked the bartender who was a 6'5" big dude. Clay was a big guy, ex-con. He was a huge guy. And he had just attacked him. When I started fighting with this guy, and I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy in the world, but Loki, you've seen me fight. You've seen me throw down at people. And this dude was like, It should have been like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I mean, it was like, he should have been laid out, but it wasn't. He just got up and kind of got thrown out the door and just took his shirt off and was just bleeding a little bit. And it was unreal how many punches this guy, and it didn't even knock him out or it hurt him, but it stopped him.
For the second, it stopped him.
Yeah, but it was just so strange, and everybody was talking about how could this guy take so much punishment and still be standing there. And when I went back inside, I guess he was yelling, and everybody saw his eyes like changing. I didn't see that because I went back inside.
Yeah, I remember that was like the Stoneback guy. We were calling him like Stoneback or something. Like He was like scaly or something.
Yeah, because it
Yeah,
feels
he was
scaly.
crazy.
Yeah, and there were a couple of things that went on, but we talked about that on another show. But I had never had gotten you on because, like I said, you were hurting for a while, and now you're well, and I'm thank God you're well. I'm glad to have you be healthy and be well. You're one of my very, very, very old and dear friends, and sorry for harassing you about the stories, but you were a witness to these things, so it was like I wanted you to tell.
And I don't like to tell the shit either. Like it's I just don't like to give the stuff power. You know what I mean? And don't let it occupy my mind because some of that stuff is really strange. Some of the like what was weird about that situation was both of those guys had the eye thing going, and that was the weirdest part about that. That kind of stuff freaks me out. I like try to stay away from that kind of stuff. But
the problem,
we're
the problem was that these guys claimed to not know each other, which was weird. Okay, but then they were always talking to each other, and we had a guy that worked with us who told us, okay, that he heard these two guys conversing in some weird language. Now they spoke several languages. Jerome spoke German, he's from Germany. Reinhardt spoke French, and Arash spoke Farsi and Arabic, and there were people who spoke different dialects of Syrian and Arabic. I'm pretty linguistic too, and these people spoke perfect Spanish, perfect English, perfect Arabic, perfect Farsi, perfect German, perfect French. How's that even possible? Like these two guys that didn't know each other
looked similar to each other.
To each other, but they didn't know each other. And then in the back, they were talking, and one of the bouncers, I believe it was Chico, actually, and I do have permission to say that because he told me this a long time ago. And he was saying something about it sounded like a form of like broken Klingon or something. And he was like, dude, that was right around the time that he had left to go work at another club, and then he came back. And I always teased him. I said, the Reptilians scared you away. And he was like, no, they didn't scare me, But it was funny because he did leave after that. And then he was also went to go become a luchador or whatever it was he did. But the thing is, that really happened. People think that these are jokes, like we're teasing or so. We would talk about this, but there were multiple people. You, Scorpion Chief, Willie, Diablo, Squid, you all saw this.
There was like 20 of us in the bar at the end of the night, that one night after you had fought that dude, and we were talking about it, and it was like all these people were telling us about it and like what they saw, and like we were all piecing it together at that point, like we often did in the middle of the night.
And everybody was just in shock because how many times have you seen somebody take a right hook from me multiple times at least, especially like that, and just go, oh, okay, shrug it off. I used to coach boxing. I trained a bunch of you guys. And so it was like, how did this guy, I know how to throw a punch and I know how to get a fight over with pretty quick. And I did it a lot in that bar. It was a hip hop club and it was a very dangerous place. When you have to wand people at the door and pat people down, that's not a good, there's going to be, this guy took punishment like no normal human being should have, and it was just so bizarre.
And he fought two of y'all. Like he had fought with the bartender, and he had fought, and then like other people had their hands on him and shit too.
It wasn't just me.
He was getting mugged.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Somebody said Arabic Reptilian. No, this guy wasn't Arabic. I don't know what he was. One of them looked like he may have been Middle Eastern. The other one looked like he may have been Caucasian. But like Loki said, it was weird that they looked very similar, which is you're going like, what is the deal here? And then they claimed to not know each other. And the Omar guy had a really explosive personality and attitude. But folks, if you go back, Anthony, I don't know if you could find the episode that we talked about the Reptilian incident. You can tell me, and I can tell you people where to go back and read the story.
I specifically remember those guys like for the first they act like they weren't friends, but then they were like best friends. Like I remember them like going together in a car somewhere. That's what I remember about those guys.
Yeah, and then the guy said he gave him a ride, and there was some kind of and there was all kinds of weird stuff going on. I'm going like, how is it that y'all don't know each other, but yet you can converse in all these languages? And they had lived in Spain, or one of them said he had lived in the highlands of Syria, and then the guy that worked upstairs, we had a pizza shop upstairs. And that the guy was Syrian, and he goes, "How does this guy know my language? Like, he speaks the dialect of my, and he spoke it perfectly, but he claims that he and the weird thing is he claims he was from a place called Uz, which I was like, where's that from? Where's that at? Where have I heard this from? Well, it's in the Bible. It was very weird. I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, like, he said that, and then this other guy said that he was from Spain, which he was Caucasian looking. But it was just a very bizarre, very weird situation, and so we'll move on to the next situation here. Now you grew up in going to a school, Maynard ISD.
Yep.
And Maynard has a lot of weird stuff. Linda Godfrey, a very famous author, actually put a story of a dogman encounter that somebody had that was right outside of Maynard, and I wonder to this day if it could have been what you saw. Now, do you want to explain what that is with the Willbarger Bridge story? It's very scary.
Yeah, I don't think it was a dog. I think it was a goat face on a humanoid. That's what I think. Like, it was like a huge standing up tall like a person would, and it had like a goat face with the horns, the devil horns that would go up. It was weird.
Yeah, and that you and another friend of ours saw that, or there might have been more than one of y'all.
It had multiple people at our school had seen it, but we've seen it together, I believe.
Yeah, and it's called the Willbarger Goatman. Now, here's what's weird. I believe when Chief was on the show, we actually talked about New Sweden. You know where New Sweden's at?
Yeah. It's right there.
And one of the guys used to work at the club with us years ago. He died of brain cancer. He was actually a very nice guy, Ahmed. God rest his soul. But he had talked about being out there, living in that area, and having some weird stuff happen. Like, he saw something on his way to work or something. And he was telling me and Squid and Willie about it. And yes, somebody said it was the Book of Job, but yeah, it's very weird that he said that's where he said he was from. Anyways, this goatman type creature has been seen from New Sweden all the way across the other side of Maynard, all the way almost to Elgin, which is a weird thing because there was a dogman sighting on that same road in that area by somebody that was in one of Linda Godfrey's books. Now, I had talked to Linda about that, and I thought, do you think maybe it could have been a goat? And she's like, that's not what they described to me. What they described to me was dogman-like or werewolf-like, but what you had said, you were very adamant over the years, you haven't changed your story, that it was a goat. And Willbarger Bridge is known as a place where there is a goat man or goat-type creature that walks on two legs that lives there. Now, I'm going to tell you a weird story. I went through there one time. Now, the guys you grew up with, you guys, we called y'all the Maynard boys because y'all had your own little clique. You knew each other since high school, and we were all
since elementary.
Since elementary. Y'all knew each other since y'all graduated together. Y'all were all, and y'all had your own little clique, and you and Chief were kind of the de facto leaders of that little clique, but y'all were very fun-loving criminals. Guys that did whatever back in the day. We had a lot of fun. But one time, I remember, I think it was either Josh or Kale, one of them was telling me about Willbarger Bridge. If you go through there, there's a goat man out there. Now, I'm going to tell you, one time I drove out there, and I was with my brother, and I was with this girl that he was dating. She was one of my favorite people. I called her the Red Scare. She had, like, red hair, and she was... Anyway... Anyways, you probably know what I'm talking about too. But we went out there because Red Scare was like, I don't believe that. I don't believe in no goat man. I ain't scared of no goat man. So we said, okay. So we rode out there, and when we were over the bridge on the other side, now if you go there now, like, it just goes over 290, but there's another side that goes further down, about half a mile north of that or south of that. There's a bridge there. And now, it used to not be all grown up. There was nothing there. You pulled up to that bridge. You just sat there. There's nothing there. There was hardly any traffic. Now it's just built up everywhere. I don't know where Goatman would even hide.
It's one of those two people can't go down the same bridge at the same time.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And we pulled up, and we got out, and we heard, man. And dude, I'm telling you, we got back in that car faster than freaking. It was unreal, dude. Like, Usain Bolt had nothing on me that night. I jumped over that car, and we were in her car, and she was like, give me the keys. I'm like, you ain't driving. I just took off, and my brother got in the back seat, and I ended up with Red Scare next to me, which is, and she was grabbing on me like, oh my God. I was like, so we're taking off, trying to get the heck out of there, but I heard it, and it sounded like a goat, like almost like a person imitating a goat perfectly, but it was loud and guttural, and I can't even do it the way it sounded. I didn't see it, but I heard it, and I was like, that's as close to the goat man as I want to get. Now you describe to the audience what you saw, what it looked like to you.
So we were on one side of the bridge, and for whatever reason, we were out of the vehicle, and we were like walking around, messing around, and it's like one of those things. You go to the cemetery and you get out, and you're like trying to push each other's buttons and mess with each other, but it was like one of those things where we walked all the way to the other side of the damn bridge, and then we looked back to the vehicle, and there it is, like halfway between us, and we're like, oh shit, he's got us cornered off from where we came from. So we act like we ran the other way, and Maynard's not one of these places that's known for livestock in the city like that and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we have farms, but it's not goats. We're not known for goats.
No, not at all. It's cows.
Yeah, it's like cows and horses. That's it. And so and this thing like charged at us a little bit, and we scurried off like away from the thing, and then we look back and there's nothing on the bridge, and we like full speed run all the way back to the car, all the way at the other side of the bridge. And it's just when you're doing stupid shit happens. One of those fucking things.
Good guy. I'm giving up on the cursing there. We'll just have to edit this later. So the thing is, okay, and now here's another weird thing that happened to you, okay? And we were going over this one day. Me and you were talking about weird stuff happening to me, weird stuff happening to you, weird stuff happening to lots of different people. And I believe that certain people are susceptible to certain things. I think you're one of those people. When you would see things at my house. Well, of course, everybody did, but you were one of the many people that saw stuff when you used to feed my dog. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so you had like a normal little kitchen, living room, two bedroom apartment, and we would always go over there and we would hang out like after work and stuff. So like I knew the place really well, and we'd go over there to feed his dog when he's out of town or do something, this and that. And like there was always something in that hallway. There was a mirror there at one point, and the mirror would always flicker, and there would be stuff on it on that one wall. But somewhere along the line, the mirror disappeared. But everything, it just kept doing it. You could still see down the hallway, and you could still, it was weird. It's one of those weird things. Like you would hear something, or something would make you look over there, and then you would see it, and then if you like took your eyes off of it, then and looked right back, it'd be gone. It was just one of those weird. It was weird. That's one of those things that it never hurt anybody that I know of, and it was just like either watching us or it was trying to get our attention always.
To you,
it was
guys.
weird.
Yeah,
it
was actually a 2-bedroom, but then we turned that back part into like an extra bedroom, and then the closet was like so big. Yeah, we turned that into like because the closet was like I couldn't believe, like, why would you make a closet almost the same size as the bedroom?
Yeah,
it was
like a
so weird. And I remember Scorpion just first. I think Diablo stayed in there and turned it into his bedroom, and then I think Scorpion, he had that as a bedroom, and then Chief had the other main bedroom, and so it was a pretty roomy place, and it had the big vaulted ceilings, and it was very nice and cool, and in the spring and the fall it was wonderful, and the rent was cheap, and it wasn't like the Amityville Horror. I tell people that all the time. It didn't happen all the time. But there were so many incidents that took place in that house. Like when stuff did happen, lucky you didn't have to go through a whole lot because you weren't there during a lot of things. Now Jack, actually spoke to Jack earlier today, which is kind of funny. Jack actually was a non-believer. I used to have a pinball machine, and he used to come over and play that pinball machine. And sometimes I'd come home and he'd be sitting there playing it in my house, and y'all all would just come and go. It was kind of like the flop. Everybody's flopped at that house. And we hung out there all the time. And I remember one time Jack just went to the bathroom and then didn't come back for like 2 weeks. And so I asked him, what was the deal? Like, why did you not come back? And he said he saw what looked like a weird looking old man in my bedroom, which he knew that was nobody that lived there that looked like that. We didn't hang out with any weird old man that was there, you know? So we were like, what could that be? And Jack's like, I don't know. But after that, I think he kind of stopped being, you know, a non-believer, and he quit kind of teasing. And I know that you had told me on multiple occasions when you went over there to feed my dogs, Ivan, Caesar,
the dog would be staring at something. It was one of them things, and then I put it together. I was like, that's exactly where I always see that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've probably seen it 8 or 9 times. That's how many times I've seen it.
Oh yeah,
but
and it was like a shadow.
Yeah, it was something was watching, or it was always something weird.
Yeah, jumping in and out of that mirror.
After, you know, when the first 3 or 4 times I seen it, I said nothing to anybody. And you know what I mean? And then like after a while, and then I brought it up, and then I started hearing other stories, and then other people started seeing it the longer I would stay there. And like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and I remember one of our old roommates used to go to school with you guys. Pug, he ran out of the house screaming. You know, he came out of the shower with no clothes on, just a towel, and ran out of the screaming. And I was like, and me and Willie were laughing because, I mean, but I felt bad for the guy because, you know, it happened to Willie too. He didn't do that, but I remember coming home one time and Willie, I mean, he was like 6'4", big guy, big African American guy. He was Creole. He was from Louisiana. He wasn't scared to fight. He was a great fighter, and he was just outside in his car, just scared to go inside. You know, it was just like. It was just it was scary. It was a scary place. And it was, like I said, it was like a duplex. And the other side was haunted too. That house had all kinds of stuff going on in it. And then the neighbor's side had stuff going on in it too. And there was a person that people would see in the loft on the other side, and the other side of the people. And sometimes when there would be no one living next door, you would hear stuff hitting the walls. I mean, it was crazy. If you guys go back to the early episodes of my show, you can listen to all that. I never got to have Willie come on the show because he had brain cancer and he was battling it for 2 or 3 years. So I, you know, when I was doing the show, so I never could get him on. He just couldn't do it. And he wanted to talk about what had happened to him and what he saw. But yeah, and Loki, I'm glad you got to come on and talk about it because you saw it too. It was very real. I mean, this was not a joke.
You know, I don't like talking about it because it's, you know, it's so real. It's so weird. Mm-hmm. Like hits you in a different spot than, you know, like saying that you seen a friend or something. It's like a strange gift.
Yeah,
it'd be weird.
Yeah, and there were so many, and now see here, Anthony said it's either one of these episodes, Reptilian Abductions and Encounters, that's episode 24, or it was Lizard Potluck number 34. Either one of those was when we talked about it, or it could have been one of the other potlucks that we talked about, the reptilian thing. But you know, going way back to these stories, you know, it's like your memory, you try to remember exactly. And I don't know, the more we talked about it, I started to think maybe I did see, you know, the guy's eyes changed. And then I thought, no, that maybe it was just me thinking that I did, because I'm pretty sure I never saw the eyes change, but I know multiple people saw it, and besides me.
Yeah.
And I know you were one of them. I felt the ridge on the guy's back.
There was like 3 or 4 people that saw both of them do it.
Both of them, yeah.
That's the fucking thing. Like, I saw the one guy, and I didn't get to see the guy when y'all pushed him outside after that, and saw him do it. But the other guy, I did see him do it.
I think Jeff, the bartender, was one of them too, that said he saw both of them, because the one guy was barbacking for a while, and he said, I don't like being here by myself with this guy. And he said that I remember him talking about him popping his back weird or something. That was the Omar guy. Now, see, we say the guy because we don't even believe these were their real names, because it was just too much weird. I don't think that those were their real names. I think they were just using. You
wouldn't want to just give their names out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was just weird. And, we all had nicknames anyway, you know. I mean,
exactly.
You know, but there was a lot of weird stuff that went on, and so the other story. There was another story that happened to you, and you call it the alien story. Did you want to tell that?
Yeah. So this was like maybe 2000, and we're driving out in Maynard, and it was me and Chief at this time, and we were driving out there, and we see like a huge ball of light, and we're like, man, that's over by so and so's house. Let's go check it out. You know, it's like 1 a.m, nothing's going on. We're slow town. I think we had just went to the convenience store and got sodas or something weird, and we were going back to watch maybe some movies or something. But we saw this thing and we were like, oh man, let's go see what this thing is all about. And we get up and it's not like in the movies where you see like the fog everywhere and then there's like light off in the distance. It was just like the whole road was lit up where we drove up to where we thought it was going to be at, and we looked around and we couldn't see anything. We got out of the car and like I had a brand new flashlight I had just got, but this was 1999 flashlights, not the flashlights of today. So it was like one of those big metal mag light ones, and it was like real heavy. They worked all right, but they weren't as good as these flashlights nowadays. And so I was like beaming around and looking and this and that, and you can't see anything, but it was like there was light all around. Like some nights you can see a lot of stuff on the ground when it's dark outside, but there's like a street light. That's what it was like, and it was like all lit up. And there's no street lights out there. You know what I mean? There's no lights, and this is between three people's like properties right there at the end of this street, and it was like all lit up. And then we never saw anything other than the light, and that was about it. It's kind of weird. But the other weird thing is after we got through looking, we went back to the house, and it was like almost 5 a.m. So there was like it I don't know what happened, but it was like 4 or 5 hours wasted looking for that thing. But it didn't seem like it seemed like it was like 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the weird thing about that. But yeah, it was like all light. We never saw anything. It was just light everywhere, abundant amount of light.
Somebody just asked in the chat room. They said, "How big is Loki?" Loki, you're 6'3". How old are you?
Yeah,
6'3".
I'm like I'm 6'2.5" ish.
Yeah, you're a big guy.
Yeah.
You're a big dude. We weren't little guys. There weren't many of us that were small. I think Chief was kind of the runt of the litter, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, but everybody could handle themselves pretty well, and we never had many problems. We never had too many problems winning fights. We would be outnumbered quite a bit, and we were all pretty good. You took MMA for several years. So,
Yeah.
You were there, and y'all all
Back
trained.
before it was cool. Before it was on TV.
Oh yeah, back when it wasn't no money in it back then. I was doing amateur stuff, and it was like, there's no money in this, dude. So why would I keep doing it? Somebody said, "Great show." Thank you, thank you, Taylor, for that $10 donation. So one of the things I was going to ask you, Loki, is like when you think back on all this stuff that happened to you in your life, do you think it's all interconnected, or do you think it's all just separate, compartmentalized incidents that just happened to happen to you?
No. Well, I don't know. I think I think there's certain people, like you say, that like I'm not trying to say a bad word, but I think I'm the S magnet. Like if there's some S out there, I'm gonna find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's some that I think that's, I don't know what it is, but I see things different. I see, like, we could go driving on the road and I'll see some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen, and other people will never see it. Like I don't know. I guess I just notice stuff. That's the other thing. I'm a noticer.
Yeah, you definitely are good at details. That's one of the things I noticed about you, and it's crazy when you stop to think about all the people that came and went, and all the people that we knew over the years. I mean, it is staggering how many people would come in and out of that club, working for us, being friends, whatever. And it's odd that it's very unusual that a group of guys like us, we stayed friends for decades. I mean, there's a lot of us, about 40 something of us, and we're all still this clique, this friends. We've known each other forever, and I know that I can trust you, and it was great to go hang out with you the other day and eat dinner, and I missed hanging out with you. I'm glad you're better. I'm glad you got well, and I prayed for you, and I'm so glad that you're on the mend, and I hope you continue to take care of yourself and get yourself good or whatever. I'm gonna have if you come help build my house.
All right.
But yeah, dude. I mean, and then once that's done, once that's built, you can come and flop at my house like you used to back in the old days, man. Hopefully it won't be haunted, and then you can maybe house sit for me, and So yeah, I remember, and my dog liked you a lot. I remember that. Ivan loved you, and he was, you were, and then, when I had the Mastiff or whatever, and then you started always getting big dogs, and you had a whole lineage
love
of big dogs. Yeah, and they were awesome. Loki's very much an outdoorsman. Here's one more weird story, and I'm going to bring it up. And Loki, you probably know what I'm talking about. It involves the outdoors. Loki he's always been a hunter. As long as I've ever known Loki lives out in the sticks. Okay, it's not even sticks anymore because Austin's starting to. If you live in the country, they'll surround you with stuff. So for a long time, he lived basically out in the country, and now it's like caught up to him. So he's moving. But you always had, animals, farm animals. You raised animals, and what's crazy is like you've always had really, really, really good dogs, tough, big dogs, whatever. Yep. And then you had one time you had a trail cam.
Yeah,
and you know what I'm talking about. This is weird because this has happened to me. I was driving. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. I was driving from when they were opening up this store called At Home. It's in Cedar Park. And it's kind of like they're really cool stores. They're kind of like a cross between a Walmart and a Lowe's. It's really weird, but anyways, and a Hobby Lobby, if you can imagine that. Okay, so they have like everything. So anyway, they're opening them up, and we were opening up two of them at the same time. One was in Pflugerville, and I was having to drive back and forth. One was in Cedar Park, and we had 6 guards at each one. It was really crazy. So one of my guards was at a place at a construction site where they were building a retirement home. It was a company we worked for. We did a lot of work for. And he was in Georgetown. So I had to do kind of like this triangle. I had to go from Pflugerville to drop off food and then go check on the guards over in Cedar Park. And then I would go to Cedar Park to Georgetown, and Georgetown to Pflugerville. So Scorpion was working over there at the Georgetown one, and I was driving down the highway. And a naked man just jumps over. It was crazy. Like, he jumped crazy high. Like, that movie with the guy from Mars, John something, Mars, whatever.
Yep, John Carter.
John Carter, yeah. He jumped over the barbed wire fence, ran in front of my vehicle, not like right in front of it. It wasn't like, he was a ways up, I could see. I couldn't tell you how far exactly, but he was a ways up, and I was going about 60 miles an hour. And he just ran and jumped over the other barbed wire fence and kept running into a pasture, and he was completely nude. He was, I just was like, what in the heck? And then me and Loki, we got to talking, and I told you, I said, I had this weird thing happen to me, and you're like, oh, great, what now? Because there's always weird stuff going on. And then you told me, I think it was you and another friend of ours, told me a crazy story about a trail cam y'all had put up, and there was a guy that walked right in front of it that was naked. And it was like, what, you said 5-10 miles from anywhere, from nowhere?
Well, it was out on this ranch that's like, I don't know, like 4,500 acres. So this is a pretty big area, and this is like not on the side or anything. So we're like up in there on like a deer camera that we have up there, and we're trying to see if there's deer in this area. So we're going through these camera pictures, and there's this guy, and I know you want me to tell him that he was naked, but he was in blue he was in blue jean booty shorts.
I want you to say booty shorts on air.
That's what he was wearing. He was just wearing those little cut off little Daisy Dukes.
Said he was naked, yes, but
yeah.
He was in when you said booty shorts. I was like, don't say booty shorts. Call it something else. Call it gym shorts, and you're like, well, that wouldn't be true. Okay, well,
no, yeah,
what it is. He was wearing booty shorts.
Yeah, he was in these cut off blue jean shorts, and they were like all up. Like the back pockets were even cut away.
Visuals, dude.
so like he was creeping out there, and like it was weird because he's like not carrying anything, and he was just he had no pockets in those shorts, and he's like just out there, just out in the middle of nowhere. And he had to have walked for an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to this spot from anywhere on the property to get into it. It was huge, and so like he didn't look like he was emaciated or anything, but he definitely was looking like he was worried, like he was looking out into the areas. Like he was gazing where he couldn't
looking around. It was so weird though when y'all told me that. I was like, dude, who does that? Like, who walks miles out in the middle of nowhere
in the dark, solid dark? Because he was probably hearing the camera go off. There's like every once in a while, and like he was like really gazing around. His eyes were huge, and he was like I don't know. Maybe he was just experiencing the nature like we all probably should. I don't know.
I think we should probably experience nature in regular clothes, though.
Yeah.
Walking around in booty shorts was like so
trespassing on somebody's property.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Loki, and with that, folks, I'm gonna let you go, Loki. I appreciate you getting on the phone with me and telling me these stories. It's great. It's Halloween time, and it was time for you to tell them. And I'll see you later on this week.
Okay? Yeah, I'll let you, bro.
And I'm glad that you're going to be fully clothed. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got the short. I'll get some shorts. Oh, God. I'll bring you a pair.
No,
all right, man. I'll see you later.
We're good. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate it.
So,
you take care of yourself.
Tell all the guys I said what's up.
I will. All right, brother.
All right, man. All right, see you later.
All right, bye. Who's gonna say that? Oh God. Okay. Yeah, I was like, yeah, let's not call it, booty shorts. We had a short conversation, and specifically was about that. I was like, look, you can say what you want, don't curse. Of course, that went out the window. But I was like, the booty shorts thing. I was like, because he was wearing strange clothes. Very odd, very strange. So I can tell you right now that there are some really, really, really weird things out there in this world. And I'm not joking. I mean, when I saw that guy jump over that barbed wire and then jump over it again, that was weird. I mean, that was really weird. And then when I told him and our other friend that they used to live together, they were roommates or whatever. And, yeah, and I think it was actually his girlfriend, Loki's girlfriend at the time. I think, if I remember correctly, she was the one that said, "Hey, you need to ask him about what he saw one night on the trail cam." And I was like, "Okay," so I did, and then his friend, our mutual friend, verified. Said, "Yeah, that really, But anyway, weird stuff, dude. He was wearing Daisy Dukes. Somebody says, I once saw a guy in the middle of nowhere in the woods during a massive thunderstorm wearing only a wife beater and holding a butcher knife. Oh my gosh. There's some weirdness going on out there, man. It's so, I don't know. And that, I just can't imagine what goes on with these people. Oh, this thing is heavy, folks. I'm sorry, man, but I gotta take my bling off here. Let me get comfortable. This jacket is not, I got a better jacket for Lord Worthington. That one's just my Pimp Master Payne jacket. But I have a Lord Worthington one that's definitely very nice jacket. I might wear that one next week. Is it an evil jacket? So take some questions here. Anybody got any questions? You want to ask any questions here? I see the chat room's full. Conducting a social experiment. Yeah, that's quite the experiment. Somebody says, Carrie, what does it say? Carrie, what's your name? Carrie Baltimore, I need to come to Texas. You all have the stories. Yes, we do. Texas is an odd duck of a state. It's weird. It's almost like it's not even part of America. First of all, it's just a weird place. It's more like a Republic of Texas. Everybody just kind of acts like, you're just your own country. Somebody said, I bet it was Shia LaBeouf. I'm not going to repeat that. But yeah, who knows? He used to hang out in Austin. Actually, Shia LaBeouf got arrested. He was here in Austin. He was a pretty regular occupant downtown where we used to work. We used to work on 6th Street. It was a place called the Roxy at 302 East 6th Street. And we definitely had some weird times. I saw a pool ball move one time with like 2 or 3 other guys, and well, actually guys and gals. It was like 2 guys and a female, and we were all working upstairs doing something, and the white ball just started rolling by itself, going toward one of the going toward the other side of the pool table, then just kind of rolled into the pocket. And I remember I was with Clay, the bartender, and I looked at him and I was like, "Did you see that?" And he said, "Yes, I did." And I was like, "That's, that bartender, the female bartender, didn't work there very long. She quit." I remember going down the stairs and having my rag yanked out the back of my pocket. And I was walking up the stairs with Squid one time. Squid's got to come on the show at some point too and talk. And his rag got yanked out of the back of his pocket. Whatever was in that back area was kind of playful. It didn't really seem to bother you if you work there. This is weird, and I'm not making this up. This is true. If you were in the back of that club and you work there, I think it played favorites. Like, it never ever really was harassing me. Never really bothered me. And I even felt at times, and this may sound weird, but I felt almost protected at times. Like it was protective of those, I think, that worked there, and that it knew me over the years. Whatever was there, and it was just it never messed with me, but I saw it mess with people. There would be people back there doing things they weren't supposed to be doing that didn't work there, and they would be scared S-less, by something. And there were certain people that were regular customers that had been going there since before I started, and they were there when I left, and it never bothered them. But if you were somebody I didn't know, I think that you were fair game. If that makes any sense. I know it sounds weird to say that, but I was there many times, during the day by myself. Sometimes I'd take my dog up there, and I'd wait for my manager back when he was in charge, and there was nothing weird. I mean, it was just normal, it didn't happen all the time. I know that a couple of the bouncers saw things in the mirrors, people getting pushed. One girl claimed she got slapped. It was just a lot of weird. I mean, if we'd have to do an entire show just on that club. And I spent hours, my life, probably years of my life in that club. Because even when I quit, it was the hangout. It was the club. There was a sister club that we had that was by the same owners right across the street on 6th Street in San Jacinto. And those 2 clubs together were our clubs, and I got into some bloody, violent fights in those places. I was stabbed, nearly died, was stabbed on a Saturday, woke up in the hospital on a Tuesday. Now, anybody who thinks I'm joking about the stuff that went on there, I can march about 40, 50 people in front of you, and they can tell you what went on. The Black-Eyed Kids thing, honestly, I've been trying to get Loki to tell that story for a long time. He doesn't really like talking about it. It scared the hell out of him. It is a scary thing. People don't like to talk about that kind of stuff. It's just scary, And so I'm going to make one more call, and I'm going to see if I can get this gentleman on the phone, and we'll see what we can do. Hey, Patrick, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, good to hear your voice. We haven't spoken in a while. So, how was your vacation? First of all,
I'm still on it. I'm working on things at home.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
You're on the air live with me on my live stream on Paranormal Round Table. And you and I are going to be doing a show together. We're going to record, and I wanted you to do a little promo for the folks there and let them know who you are and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and so they can get excited about what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Again, like you said, I'm Patrick Meechan, and I have had the somewhat unique experience of having lived in two unrelated haunted houses back to back. Um, the hauntings were completely had nothing to do with one house from the other. Uh, One house I actually had built in Amish country in Holmes County, Ohio. Very haunted place. I went through a lot of really strange paranormal experiences, lots of demonic oppression, and eventually was able to overcome that situation. That's documented in my book, Nightmare in Holmes County. And I moved into another house right after that in Tuscarawas County, Ohio. And that house also was haunted. It was completely unrelated to Holmes County. The haunting went back to at least March 1st, 1958. There was an event that happened in the house at that time that I think definitely is a major reason why the house is haunted. There may be other things as well that before that. But I lived in that house 3 months, and I researched the complete history of the house and the history of the haunting. I tracked down all these other families that had lived there and never shared their stories with anyone else they told the house to. So when they told me their stories, basically, they had not shared them with anyone else. And I was able to piece together, the similarities between the experiences each family had and the experiences I was having. That was originally released as 225th Street in 2011, and then a second edition was released in 2021. That I went back and added. There's 5 additional chapters, and I added a lot of information about what has happened since the original book was written. And I went back and again examined all my notes from my interviews from 2010 and 2011, and then conducted more interviews. And there's a lot of information in there about that continuing haunting. How things did seem to follow other people who have lived in the house either before me and after. Very similar things have continued happening. I will tell you. I think living in an environment that's that kind of a haunting, it is a life and death situation. If you don't know how to fight back, it can cost you your life. That's what has happened, and people have suffered very severe accidents and things that are very similar to accidents and experiences others had who had lived in the house as well.
Yeah. One of the things that we talked about, and we're not gonna keep you on long because eventually we're gonna record and we're gonna do a whole set together, and we're gonna get into all these things that we've talked. We talked the other night, probably for 2-3 hours. It was a long conversation. Very interesting. You're a very interesting man. I think my guests are gonna really appreciate what you have to say. Now, you've dealt with demonic oppression for a long time. Now, you live in Amish country, and you actually have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you have done a lot of exploring into the practices of the Amish, and me and you both know this very, very well. I have a couple of friends who were former Amish who left, and one of them left in Rumspringa. 2 of them did, and the other one left later on when he was 20. And they told me some shocking things about the Amish community, things that I was not aware of. I did not realize 20 years ago, that was what was going on. And then I met up with you, I think it's probably been 4 or 5 weeks ago when we had that conversation, maybe a little over a month. And you talked about how when you built your house, you had no idea that it was right next to the community, that they were doing things that were basically satanic.
Yeah, I was actually right in the community.
Yeah, and you uncovered a lot. There was a barn, all kinds of things. I mean, we can't get into the whole. Well, we will get into it eventually, but we can't do it tonight. But you battled evil in a way that, I mean, like you went through kind of like what I went through in my house. One of my dear friends was on the show the other day, and I don't want to, call him out or anything. He's a really good friend. I was actually messaging him earlier, but he was on my show, and he told me and Bartonelli, he's like, "Oh, I would have loved to live in a haunted house. I think that'd be cool." And I was like, "No, it's not. It's not cool at all. It was nerve wracking. You don't get any sleep. You start to feel sick. It can make you sick and make you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah.
And the Amish community is often looked at in a light of, and I'm not attacking all Amish people. There are some good Amish people. What I'm talking about is there is a subculture within the culture, and they practice a magic. Okay, good. They claim one of them is good or benign, and one of them is evil. One of them is called Pow-Wow.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and then the other one they do practice. It is an evil form of whatever. And you uncovered a lot of this, and you were having things thrown at you because of your close proximity to them, and so you went through a whole lot of these things. That I know all too well about how this works, and a lot of people don't, and they don't understand it because they're not it hasn't happened to them, and they have an idealized version of something. Just like there are gypsy curses. I was talking to Aroma. We worked at a place here in Austin, apartment complex, where there was a fire, and in this apartment complex there were approximately 30 to 40 gypsy individuals that lived there. Some of them were cool, but there was a couple that weren't, and the other ones told us, just if as a non-gypsy, don't talk to them, don't deal with them, because they will not deal with you. The Roma people are very closed off. They're close knit. They have their own culture, and they are very into throwing curses and putting things on people who they deem to be a threat. They seem to get along with me very good. We had a guard that had a bunch of bad stuff happen to him. I mean, I'm talking like this guy's vehicle blew up. I mean, like, he just went out, and then there were people trying to break into their house. There was all kinds of bad things going on. And so I talked to one of the Roma people, and I asked them what their problem was with him. And they said, well, he was very aggressive with us. He started off with us very, very, very nasty. He was mean. And I found out, now in their defense, I did find out that he was being quite aggressive, and he was yelling at them and saying things, and they retaliated with a curse, and he ended up moving out of state. He left. Now, I never even got a chance to tell him, hey, you were cursed, because they told me point blank. One of the elders said, look, this man, he insulted my daughter and my wife. He insulted my brother. And one of the practicing elders put a curse on him. And he's like, he's never going to prosper. It's going to be bad. And, and I told him, I said, come on, dude, you can't be doing things like this, whatever. And they said, Mr. Wolf, they called me Mr. Wolf. We have no problem with you, but this man, very, very rude, very ugly man, whatever. And so I said, okay, and nothing ever happened to me. My nephew worked there for several months around them. They even gave him food. They never had a problem with him at all. But the other guy, they did not like him. And I think, honestly, he did start it with them, but they were definitely all about finishing it. And so
I can tell you with the Amish, everybody thinks they're peace loving, go to church. I'm telling you, it is in real life, it is exactly the opposite of what they put up. The incest, child rape, animal abuse, it is through the roof. It is common to pretend it's not. People don't like hearing it. I'm sorry, it's the truth. And I've known stories of people that give you, for instance, there was a driver who drove them around, and he could not stand them, but he was making money from them. But the men would have him take them to prostitution houses in Massillon, Ohio, and he'd have to wait on them. I mean, they put up this front, and I mean, it is sick what really goes on. It's the exact opposite of what they present to the world. And the thing is, Holmes County makes millions of dollars every year off of tourism because everybody believes this false narrative of the
and so peace loving, whatever, when they're really just closed off, and there's no telling what goes on. The people that me and actually the guy that was on before you, I know that Loki probably remembers these two individuals in particular that worked with us. One of them we call Zeke. And he told us some horrific things that were going on, and he left. He even pretended to be a Mennonite to drive a tractor for his father because they were not allowed to drive mechanical vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
So he pretended. So it was like he was like, dude, I was being, having to do all these things. And there's that what they call green corn. They use it a lot, which is marijuana. And he's like, it's very rampant. They just do everything that you could possibly imagine. They do. And it's not, I mean, there used to be a show called Amish Mafia. And it sounded so funny, but when you watched it, I was sitting there going like, and I asked Zeke and Adam, I was like, is this real? Is this, he goes, yeah, it's very real. They're violent. They do so many things that you would not imagine. And I'm not attacking them. But it's very common. Some of the things that they were doing, you would be shocked and appalled by it by a normal person, but it's supposed to be a peace-loving community. So you're sitting there going like, there is so many things that are just not correct with that. And the same thing with the gypsy culture. I'm not attacking people's cultures or religions or whatever, but I had the Roma themselves tell me. And one of them I got to be pretty good friends with. Me and him talked pretty regularly. He was always outside smoking his home-rolled cigarettes. And at first, being security, I thought that he was smoking something. And I said, come on, dude, don't do that in front of me. And I didn't care if he's like, but I said, dude, if you can go inside. He goes, no, it's a tobacco. He showed me, and I said, oh, okay. Yeah. And he was very friendly and upfront, and he told me point blank a lot of stuff. I mean, just, this is what happened to your friend. They put a curse on him. And in his apartment complex where he lives, somebody was shot in the hallway, and he nearly, one of the bullets went through his door. Mm-hmm. And they said that was a warning, basically, to him. I mean, so, there's a romantic view of these things. And in reality, it's not the way it seems. It's like there's this dark underside that you don't see, that you don't get. And it's not all fun and the canned foods and whatever else, people think that that's what they're doing, making soap and candles. No, they're doing magic.
A lot, absolutely. And a lot of the stuff they sell that they claim is Amish made, handmade, is not. It's from China. I mean, that's the tip of the iceberg. There's so much of that goes on. It's not even funny. But the witchcraft and Satanism, I mean, they get into old, I think it's called the 7th and 8th books of Moses. They called it. It's witchcraft books that are extremely old. And if you go through those and look at them, they teach people how to conjure demons against other people. That's what they're teaching you to do. They're heavily into all of that. The Book of Pow-Wow, I won't even have it in my house. I have one. It's in a safety deposit box at a bank. I don't want it in my house. But it shows, and this is commonplace. The story is that every Amish home has a Bible, and Pow-Wow, this book it's called Long Lost Friend is the name of the book, and it's a book about
friend. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny. Years ago, when I had not even written Nightmare Edition, I was on an interview
Patrick,
about
breaking up real bad. Let me call you right back because I got to hear what you have to say. Hang on. Let me call him right back because his audio was bad. Patrick, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I am.
Okay, it was getting.
Can you hear me better?
Bad. When you start talking about things, the devil doesn't like it. So
that's probably it. Seriously, but I was on this interview years ago when I had first written the first edition of 225th Street. Didn't even have Nightmare in Holmes County out yet, and I was on an interview from some guys in Pennsylvania. One of them was Lon Strickler, and they asked me a few questions about Holmes County, and I started to say a little bit, and Lon says, "I know where you're going with that," and he kind of chuckled, and I thought, I bet you don't, but okay, whatever. Well, we went to a commercial break, and I said, Lon, where do you think I'm going with my story? And he said, you had a powwower working on you, buddy. Mm-hmm. And I said, how did you know that? And he said, my family was Amish. And he goes, you started talking, I knew He could, just by what you were saying, he said, I knew that that's going on. And it's prevalent. They do practice this stuff. And in that book of Pow-Wow, I mean, that's their lighter form of witchcraft.
Yeah.
And it talks about, if you have epilepsy, take a dove, cut its throat, and drink the blood, and you'll be cured. It's flat out things that are very evil. You should not mess with. I mean, it's unbelievable, but it goes on and on and on. And I know of multiple places in Holmes County where they practice Satanism and witchcraft. And, I have a picture in my second edition it was taken during a night of a ritual in one of the meeting sites by a friend of mine. They stumbled upon this and took pictures, and they had a picture of a fire with these people in black robes standing around it. And the fire was in the shape of a pentagram. Mm-hmm. And when they got looked at the picture, then later, that is not in the picture at all. You can see the edge of the road. You can see the fence line. You can see, weeds sticking up. But then what should be, the top of the picture that should have this pentagram burning, there's nothing there. So he said, look at the side of the picture. And on the side of the picture, there was a light spot that looked slightly different than the rest of the picture. So he lightened the whole picture to try to see what that was. It's a demonic face staring right at you. And you can tell it's spiritual. You can see it plain as day, though. I included that in the book, but so they capture a demonic face that blocks out what was the picture should have really been of. And when they take a picture of these Amish people having their ritual in their field, so that individual that took that picture years late after he took that, he gave me the picture and full rights to it. But he took me out there and said, I'll show you where they have some of their meetings. He goes, this is one place I know of. So he took me there. And a lot of pictures. I've been back there multiple times. But it's funny, we decided to do a podcast in 2012 on Halloween night live from that area. So we go out there and we go to a haunted graveyard that's just over the hill, like just in that same area where that valley is where they practice Satanism. As soon as I stepped into the graveyard, my batteries for my camcorder died immediately. As soon as I stepped across the threshold. Yeah, as soon as I stepped across the threshold into the inside, it died. So then we go to the area where this valley where they practice satanic rituals. We did a broadcast. Nothing really happened. There was no one there, which surprised me, but someone had leaked the information that we were going to be there that night. It got leaked online, so I'm sure they found that out. But the interesting thing, a few months later, that individual that's a friend of mine, he took me there. He called me in January. This was in 2013 January, and he said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but he said, I think I need you to come and do a cleansing on my house. He said, I think something attacked on Halloween, and I brought it home. Well, then he went through all these details of what he was experiencing, and I ended up having to go to his house and pray over his house and make it leave. And the interesting part was, going into that, I dealt with it so much, I knew exactly how to pray, and I prayed protection over myself.
Yeah, and you're bringing
as a Christian, he's a great guy. Interesting.
Yeah, and the prayer that me and you talked about was to plead the blood of Christ over everything you hold dear.
Absolutely. A hedge of protection around and the blood of Jesus over. Mm-hmm. And I do that daily. I do it all the time because you never know who's got it out for you.
That's absolutely right, and especially in this business or community or whatever you want to call it. If you're dealing with this, people always want to be in your business and mess with you. So, Patrick, that's all the time we're going to have for today. We're going to record together, and we're going to make a heck of a show, and we're going to talk about some of these things, and we're going to go further in and further in depth to this. Give everyone the name of your YouTube channel, Patrick.
Okay. Well, I'm on YouTube. If you just look up Celtics or. I know I just forgot the name of my own YouTube channel. My name on YouTube is 777.
You're really breaking up. Hold on one second. Let me recall you again. I'll just call you right back. We'll just get this done. Very odd that we're having these problems here. We're talking about stuff, and then boom, stuff starts happening. We're gonna call him right back so you can hear him. I want you to hear what he has to say. Pat, you there? Patrick, are you there? Huh. Great. Very weird. When you start talking about things, people don't like it. Patrick?
That was weird.
Yeah, that is weird. So before we cut out again, go ahead and give everybody your email address. I mean your YouTube.
You cut out now. My YouTube channel is same 777, but if you Street or Nightmare County in this search, I have videos out there with a lot more information, trailers and things like that with video evidence. They do, some of them show a lot of video evidence of what I'm claiming. 225th Street,
Patrick,
and
we can barely hear you. Here's what we can do. Patrick, go to the Paranormal Round Table group. I believe you're a member of the Paranormal Round Table group on Facebook. Post your links to that and the names of your books and everything, and post it on there, and I'll go in and approve it so everybody can see it. Try to repeat it though.
Very good. I will do that. Yep. Okay. If you just look that up on YouTube, the book titles 225th Street and Nightmare in Holmes County, you will find a lot of his trailers, whatnot. So.
Yeah, and when we talk, and we're going to do a show together, and we're going to get into some stuff. I got a lot to say too, and so do you. And Patrick, thank you for coming on the show
I'm looking
tonight,
forward
dude,
to it.
and you have a blessed night, sir. You be safe.
You too. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, pal. I'll see you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Weird how when you start talking about these things, stuff starts happening. It doesn't like being outed. And here recently, I was told that I have an Amish curse that's been supposedly put on me. Just remember, what you put out is what comes back. It's what you get back. What you put out there. Like a famous man once said, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, and if you got a glass jaw, you should shut your mouth. 50 Cent. Fixing to head out, man. I'm glad everybody showed up tonight. We over here talking about some craziness. Stuff going on. Gotta surround myself with famous people. Somebody's gotta be mad about it. Isn't that a shame? Like, I try to do something with my show. I try to build something. And because I put famous people on here, or as this person thinks they're famous, I guess, I don't know. I just call them my friends. But he thinks that I'm putting famous and powerful people on my show to inflate myself and my ego. No, I'm trying to build my channel. I'm trying to grow. And I'm trying to get the information out there to those who will listen, those who have ears that will hear. Okay? I want the people that I love, care about, and that I'm close to be safe. God, deliver us from evil in the name of Jesus. Things are done if it is your will. Amen. Okay? I can't tell you how to live your life. I can't tell you, I can suggest to you that you should do certain things, but I can't live your life for you. And ultimately, it is up to you. Things that I've seen in this world are bizarre. A lot of them are uncomfortable. You may not like it. You may think it's bull. But my friends like Loki are living proof of the things that I've witnessed and I've heard and I've seen. Evil is very real. It's very nasty. It does very, very bad things. And there are people who masquerade as children of light. Okay? And they'll pretend to be your friends. And when they don't get what they want, then it's curse time. You know? I'm not inviting that. I'm not asking you to do this to me. I get attacked all the time. There was a guy sent me an email. He was from said he was from Wisconsin. He was going to kill me. He said, I'm going to, just flat out, I'm going to kill you. Didn't give a reason. Just insulted me and said he was going to kill me. My simple response is stand in line. I've dealt with a lot of bad people in my life, a lot of bad people doing a lot of bad things. You think this is the first time I've been cursed? You think this is the first time that I've had someone try to kill me? First time I've been stabbed? No. No, it's not. And one day we'll probably all have to fight for our lives. Yeah, boy. So, anyways, if anybody's seen this man, he goes by the name of Firstan. He's from Germany. This is his actual picture, what he really looks like. This is him pretending to be an old Jedi. Okay? And I'll show you an up-to-date, more accurate picture of him. As they say in German, just Teufel. You got a pen that I can use, Anthony, please? A pen or a marker? I know you're in there eating delicious Dairy Queen. I can smell it. Now that stuff makes my stomach turn because if I eat it, I get sick. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just something that writes. A crayon will work. But I want everyone at home to see this man was supposed to come on my show tonight and talk about his Dogman experience. Once again, he did not. Can you turn the light on? Just for a minute. Oh! Now, I have to give you the updated version of Sir Teufel. Sorry, Phil. I didn't want to have to do this, show people your true color, your true face, but you left me no choice. There he is, folks. I think I made the horns prominent enough. I didn't want to have to out you, Phil. But now you know. So, folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. I got things I got to do. You got things you got to do. You got places you got to be. We had some great guests. We had Bettina Moss on from Cryptid. I can't remember the name of her group. Anyways, I'm going to be on with her. It's going to be plastered all over Facebook on the multiple groups. Patrick Meechan, I was saying Meechan. Meechan, he's going to be on the show, and we're going to record with him, and he's going to talk about a lot of interesting things. I hope you enjoyed Loki being on the show. And us talking with him. But yeah, everybody that was on the show tonight, I thank you for being a guest and coming on and talking about these different things. So for everybody here at PRT, Josh Turner, be sure and listen to part 2 to Paul Sinclair. I wanted the show to be called Dogman Origins because that's kind of what it was, but I guess Anthony wasn't really paying attention when I said that, and he called it something else. Discussion of Dogman or something with Paul Sinclair. I don't know. Something. Anyway, part 2 is coming out Friday. Now, in the meantime, you're going to get a heavy dose of me. Okay? Like a running back hitting a defense over and over again, you're going to get a lot of me. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on with D.A. Roberts. And I can't even tell you the name of his show. I hate to say that. I can't remember that. It's I will be giving links. They will be on the Paranormal Round Table group page. Go to the Paranormal Round Table group page and join, because then you can get the links to these shows. I'm going to be on Wednesday, okay, with D.A. Roberts, and then I'm going to be on, I believe, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with different people. Paranormal Expeditions, Bettina Moss, and then I'm going to be on Sunday with Jason Bland on Paranormal Soup. And then the following week, I got to look. I know I've set something up to record with Lon Strickler. I'm going to be on his show, but I think that's going to air in November or something. I don't know exactly when. He's like me. He's got booked way in advance But anyways, there's a bunch of stuff going to happen, a bunch of stuff going on. So everyone, stay tuned. Pray for me. Pray that this curse doesn't take hold, because I don't need another one. Everyone, I love you. Be safe, and good night. Look for him. I must find him. You have eluded me for the last time, Phil.